like an entertaining show about like weight loss by giving people like, you know, some extreme challenges and stuff. Like look at a big picture or something. Be like, by the end of the show, I want you to have walked / run, you know, 200 miles or something. And like, yeah, it's a lot. They're going to start out by walking. They're going to start out by like, it's not going to be super exciting, but like you could build up big challenges, like frame them in a way that made it entertaining and had people invested in the contestants that were on the show without, you know, asking them to do unsafe things and dehumanizing them. I think that it's just lazy. I think it's just lazy writing, lazy, you know, lazy production, to just fall on to abuse of your contestants. But where are the ratings, bees? Where are the ratings? I mean, I'm not an expert, and I guess there's whole like panels of people that are responsible for this shit at whatever, you know, whoever produces this, like they must know what they're doing, but that's still remove the humanity and feed them, kill it. No, we're not giving them bees. Please keep the bees away from the desperately hungry and abused contestants on this TV show.
Develop eating disorders during a competition to lose weight because psychologically they are getting so much praise and admiration from other people that they'll do anything to sustain their weight. If they put it back on, there would be embarrassment and a sense of failure. Now, after a family-staged intervention, Hibbert started to recover as well as meet with a therapist and nutritionist. And if you've watched any of my episodes for any amount of time, then you'll know what I'm about to say. Why wasn't she meeting with one in the first place? If The Biggest Loser wanted to make an impact and help people in the long term, then they should have had therapists on the program, as well as nutritionists, more doctors, and as well as exercise coaches. Yet a YouTube search for Therapist Biggest Loser results in therapists reacting to the program, whereas Biggest Loser Challenge results in a massive list of random, extreme, pull your weight, spotlight racing, and 24-hour challenges. How do these challenges spark long-term weight loss anyway? It's definitely not like you can do that at home, and I doubt these contestants have ice skating rinks and angled walls. But getting to the root of binge eating disorders or potential health issues,
I haven't watched
that
this
would
show
actually be helpful
like ever,
and informational
really,
for the public
but
too,
that
might I
looks
add.
so
But once
fucked up.
again, when you take that second look at the show, it's clear that they're after ratings more so than having these meaningful conversations. And hey, there's nothing wrong with being entertaining. But when it's packaged as healthy and helpful, that's where I start to have a problem. Not to mention, it's crucial that if someone loses this much weight on The Biggest Loser, that they do have to refrain from their old eating habits for their own safety. Have you ever heard of something called refeeding syndrome? As Dr. Ed Tyson told The Guardian,
No.
it's a potentially fatal shift in fluids and electrolytes when malnourished people start to eat again.
Oh, I didn't know that that's what it was called, but yes, yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Told them, quote, "It's miraculous no one has died yet," in reference to the program. But unfortunately, it gets worse and abusive on a whole other level.
Okay, all right, just real quick. Biggest Loser, most extreme. Oh my God, the thumbnails, please. Challenge. Not MXC.
On your mark, get set, go! 8 people pulling in opposite directions.
I've never watched, like, I have not watched like a full competition.
Everyone's still dead center in the ring. Come on, pull. Come on, pull. No one's making any headway here. Oh, Jeremy is almost there.
I go down to grab my rope, and as soon as I lean forward to grab it,
Yeah, I mean, this one, it would just be fun to see anyone. I think that's the difference, though. That's probably the difference, right? Would it be entertaining to watch anyone do this? Yes. Like, this is just a good challenge. This is just a good challenge for, like, anyone to do. Not Maz, welcome. Welcome. How are you? Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
No, it was so devastating.
What, Legion? What?
He really slowed himself down there.
Like, I would love to do this challenge. I would fucking love to do this challenge. But like with a bunch of people who also wanted to do said challenge, it would be entertaining.
It is so painful.
Come on.
Cold.
At some points, I feel like I'm not going.
But also, I mean, this a bunch of people, you know, on one side, anger on the other. But this goes back to like a bunch of people that are like in shape that want to do that versus a bunch of people that are very much not in shape. Like this is not, yeah, it's just probably not an incredibly safe thing to do.
Anywhere, because literally I'm not going anywhere.
You're using all your energy to just stand there.
There's no question. This challenge is the most physically demanding that we've had.
God.
There you go, pull it.
Get it. There you go. Emily's got it.
Oh shit, you get a rope?
Oh, and she gets the other off of it.
All of a sudden, they just all yanked at once, and my
What's a little bit of brain damage between friends? It's fine. Let's get this rope. Being tall would be a huge advantage. Yeah.
feet slid out from underneath me, and I slammed my head into the ice. But I'm a competitor, so my first reaction is
I've definitely had some friends give me brain damage.
and just to keep going.
Me too. Never on national television, but you know,
This is a workout.
maybe one day.
This is really, really tough.
Honda.
If you have a helmet, you'll be fine. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, those look like okay helmets, but like, you can only help so much whenever you take your head and slam it into the ground.
It's not something that you can kind of do on your own. You have to kind of team up.
Jimmy, what if I just run towards yours? Conda finally decides to team up. She's got Jeremy on her side there.
Legion 247 says B questions the helmet.
Jeremy's got the rope. Jeremy's got it. No one's stopping him. And he's winning. That's it. That's a win for Jeremy.
Yeah,
Jeremy
banana.
takes first place.
Yeah, like
He
it's
gets second.
probably fine. Probably.
Get set. Go.
Round two, I'm a little bit more exhausted, but I'm going to hold my ground, and when everybody is kind of paused and catching their breath, I'm gonna go for it.
I love this. I love this music.
Megan gets it. Mark and Megan pulling against each other.
Come on, guys.
Not on a first down. Mark and Megan pulling.
There you go, Mark. Hang on.
I keep trying to fight through this, but it just gets to be too much for me. And I'm going, maybe
come on,
if
Mark.
Megan was
Come on,
out of
Mark.
this, then maybe in the next round I'd have a better chance. Go, Megan. Go. Go.
Mark gives it to Megan. He lets go.
What?
And he's gonna pull for her.
What are you doing? Staged. It's scripted. It's scripted.
Conda and
It's the kind of content we need to film at BizCon. I mean, I'd be down.
See who gets third place. Go.
Strategizing?
Come on, Mark. Chris helping Mark out. Mark gets all the way to his rope. God. Chris is definitely helping Mark. He slips a little, but that's it. Round 3 is over. Mark has third place.
Why are you letting him win?
The ladies are going to battle it out. Ladies, on your mark.
Part of me who's a competitor and an athlete wants to pull.
I want to
everybody
see.
else is dragging behind me to lay on the ground.
Go.
I actually, like I said, I kind of like this challenge. I kind of want to see one of the more fucked up ones. Does anybody know? Has anybody watched this show and like knows of an example of like a fucked up one that we can watch? As much as it's gonna be Monka. It's gonna be bad, but like I would kind of like to see exactly how fucked up it is. The boot camp style training? Ah, okay.
Got her hands on that rope.
Okay. Thank you.
Go.
The commando?
Gonna run and gets herself a good head start. The rebound puts her on her butt, gives Chris a chance.
Come on, girl.
Go. Chris is pulling everyone with her, and that's it. In under a minute. Go. Emily pulling with Kim. Kimmy didn't have a chance. We are now down to Kim versus Emily.
It's me versus Emily, and I'm anticipating that Emily's absolutely going to cream me.
You better fight. Got me?
I see.
On your mark. Get set.
Commando or Bemando? Oh my god. Legion, please.
I'm just digging in and I'm feeling the burn. My body is just fighting. And if I'm not getting my rope and my buzzer, you're not.
Fighting to stay out of last place.
Come on, Mom.
I felt Emily pulling opposite of me. I thought, what kind of example am I going to set for my kids and myself if I quit? Maybe I should fight for this.
Come on, Kim.
Come on, Kim.
Kim gets a hold of that rope. Kimmy's got it. She's
Absolutely crushed.
She makes it.
Absolutely crushed. Biggest Loser Commando. That's kind of terrifying to search for. Commando Steve dishing it out. Workout Madness. It's from 11 years ago. This show has been on for fucking ever. We were shitting on League earlier for being around forever. And like...
Come on. Push through those heels.
Okay. Thank you. Is my internet dying? Am I still here? Am I still live?
Get those cadence up to 80. Obviously, these girls haven't been working hard enough.
147.8 kilos. That's a loss of 2.7 kilos.
Oh, stay safe, B. Stay safe.
Why do you think you only lost 2.7 kilos? Keep pedaling, get it up there. Keep it above 80.
Probably because I didn't train hard enough.
You really think it was just because you weren't training hard enough?
I don't know. I really don't know.
You think you're overeating?
I was sticking to my 1200.
It's nearly 6 pounds in a week, yeah.
The commando was trying to get to the bottom of why Sarah only lost 2.7 kilos, and she just broke down.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it's in kilos, not pounds. Like,
Why did she lose 2.7 and everyone else lost up around the 5 kilos?
I think if we say something, she sees it as a personal attack, and it's not. We're just trying to help.
When other people are saying
okay.
something, it's not always a personal attack. You got that?
Well, it just feels like it.
Yeah, but
because
you know what?
It's what I've had all my life.
No
so
joke.
It feels like it.
No joke.
It's hard. You can't just get over something in 5 minutes.
I'm not expecting you to get over it in 5 minutes, but you know what? What are you here for? To change your life?
Yes.
You're not out there at home. You want to go home?
No.
Well,
I can't
you know
afford to
what?
go home.
What may take a couple of months to change yourself?
Oh, that's so fucked up. Oh, I can't afford to go home. That fucking answer, that is just so fucked up. You can lose that rate early on because of the fluid. Yeah. That is so fucked up. You don't have to be like this.
Back at home, you've got to do that in half the time here, because otherwise your ass is grass and you're gone. You got that?
Yes.
Sarah definitely needs to start pushing herself harder, and I'm going to show her how to do that.
God damn it, Steve. God damn it, Steve. Yeah, literally, that is apparently
over.
That is apparently what this show is just bullying fat people. Just bullying fat people. All right, back to the video.
Now, when I say the word abusive, I don't mean tough love that trainers
Yikes,
may
for real?
give,
Yes,
insisting that
yes,
you do
Will,
one
yes.
more push-up or shouting words of encouragement or even degradation if that's maybe what you signed up for too. It goes a little bit beyond that. In 2013, Jillian Michaels found herself at the center of a scandal involving caffeine pills. Without the permission of the show's doctor,
No.
Jillian gave each member of her
No.
team caffeine pills. This gave her a disadvantage on the contest itself, and Jillian made a statement when she was caught saying, "I stand by my opinion. A caffeine supplement is significantly healthier than unlimited amounts of coffee. My only regret is that my team, they're the ones suffering the consequences of my professional opinion." I just want you to notice how there's no apology or acknowledgement that a rule was broken here. Instead, the program seems to spin it as, hey, this isn't a big deal because the pills she was giving them only had 200 milligrams of caffeine, which is less than a Starbucks tall coffee, which is about 260 milligrams.
How many do you think they took though? How many do you think that they took? And like, how many do you really think that they all just got one? Do you really think that they all just got one? Caffeine will fucking kill you, by the way. Like if they saw that as some kind of solution and they just took a bunch of it, like, yeah, it is just such a slippery slope. It's such a slippery slope.
Milligrams. Even exercise physiologist Sean Foy said that caffeine can enhance some workouts, and he still respected Jillian. His main concern was that he didn't want audience members to think that if they take a pill to fix things and keep their energy levels high, that this would amount to a long-term solution, because it doesn't.
Watch the Chubby email about the guy that accidentally dry scooped caffeine. Okay, yeah, we'll watch it after this one. I bet it's an absolute fucking horrifying disaster. I think it's pretty hard to just buy pure caffeine, right? Also, welcome Kung Fu. How are you? I think it's pretty difficult to just straight up buy caffeine because it's not difficult to take a dangerous amount. You can buy it online super easy. Yeah, but you can't just, can you just go to a store and buy a bucket of caffeine? Like, I know that you in essence sort of can, because pre-workouts and stuff, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not shitting on like supplements and that kind of thing, but giving caffeine to people who are desperate and putting it in their mind that like this is some kind of solution, I guess it very much depends on how she handled it, but I just don't think it's a very good look to just be giving people pure caffeine pills when they're already probably under an incredible amount of stress in a situation like this. Pills like NoDoz, yeah, for sure. Feeling kind of poopy might be my allergies. I hope he gets to feeling better. That sucks. They have it in pharmacies here. One caffeine, but yeah, you can buy just like NoDoz, stuff like that. Like, yeah, but like in a pure powder form where it's very easy to take a lot. No, it's not a huge deal. It's really not, because they could have just they just could have given him pre-workout or something. It's just, I feel like it becomes more weird whenever it's just a caffeine pill. Good night. I'm off to bed. I work early. Rest well, McLennan. Thanks for coming to hang out.
Now, I'm not about to sit here and say that caffeine is the devil, the ultimate evil, whatever you want to call it. Even in my old episodes that I've talked about caffeine,
yeah, I mean, I'm
say that.
sitting here drinking caffeine right now.
It is something we should be careful with, especially if you're a trainer insisting that your team members take them. Instead, I'd argue that the concerning bit here is the message of taking a pill to fix something.
Yeah.
It's that Jillian Michaels acts as if her advice should trump the word of a medical professional because she thinks she knows better. Plus, again, even if a contestant was wary, the potential for earning hundreds of thousands of dollars might sway someone against their better judgment.
That's the thing.
Personally, if there's going to be money involved here, and this is a reality TV show, so of course there is, I don't think it should be based on who lost the most weight, since that's not a consistent determiner of health in the first place. It gets worse than caffeine pills offered by Jillian, though.
Yeah, so I think on Amazon you can get caffeine like pills, right? You can get caffeine pills, but I don't think that you can just buy powdered caffeine on at least what I'm seeing on Amazon. You can get like quite a bit of it in a pill form. You can get just 200 milligram pills or whatever, but I'm pretty sure like a single scoop of pure caffeine is like a fuckload of caffeine.
Contestant Joelle Gwynn said that the show's doctor had her taking allegedly illicit pills on the program just a few years after the caffeine pill scandal.
That's
it's not clear
really
what these pills
shocking.
were, but Gwynn told the New York Post, quote, "I felt jittery and hyper. I went and told the sports medicine guy. The next
True,
day,
Banana,
Dr.
true.
H gave us the lame explanation of why they got added to our regimen and that it was up to us to take them. People chastise Bill Crosby for allegedly offering meds to women, but it's acceptable to do that to fat people to make them lose weight. I feel like we get raped too." And for the record, the New York Post isn't exactly a reputable source here, but I wanted to quote Gwynn's words exactly and tell you where I got those words from. Now, the thing is, if you're taking weight loss pills with the conscious knowledge of what they are and what they're going to do, talk to your doctor. That's up for you guys to decide.
Yeah.
The sick thing here is that Gwynn was seemingly pressured to take them
Banana.
and dismissed when she did report side effects. Hollywood Reporter writes that the pills were allegedly reported to be yellow and black, like the FDA-banned drug ephedra. The show, from its producers to trainers to doctors, have denied these allegations for the record. But if this is the case and Gwynn was really given ephedra, that's all kinds of fucked up. Like, seriously, forget about breaking reality TV show rules. The year before this story broke in 2016, Reuters was reporting how ephedra poisoning cases were climbing and how dangerous the pill can be. Does this mean that the Biggest Loser's doctor is so unaware of the drugs that he's giving patients that he didn't know the risk? Or that they were simply willing to push that risk onto someone else?
They were simply
Now,
willing
I'm not
to push that
100%
risk
sure,
onto someone
but
else.
neither one of those options look good if
Probably.
the allegations are true. But it's okay. Remember what the Biggest Loser said earlier. They care about people. They just want to help. It's not their fault if contestants are taking amphetamines, water pills, diuretics, and making themselves throw up in the bathroom to try and lose the most weight and get that cash. Frankly,
Oh yeah. See, this is what I thought it was like to order like actual caffeine. Like, it's not really that expensive, I guess, but yeah, it's you can just buy 100 grams of caffeine here for $51. Then again, 100 grams of caffeine. Yeah. And I don't know. This website may 488 sent it to me, and this website, you may actually have to have like some kind of authorization to buy some of the stuff that's on this website. Yeah. And that is the thing though. Like, whenever it is literally just like caffeine, yeah. So whenever it's literally just like caffeine, it is easy, I believe. I'm fairly certain it's pretty easy to put a ridiculous amount in whatever you're doing. So it's like not like, I just don't think it's easily made available, like generally. Like, can you get it? Probably so, yeah. But I think a lot of people wouldn't appreciate like how much you could fuck yourself up with this. Like, oh, it's just caffeine. But,
even
yeah.
if it wasn't the Biggest Loser directly telling contestants to take pills or that it's good to vomit, they created a dangerous atmosphere and may have hurt even more than they helped.
Yeah, Banana. Yep.
I'd love to say that the contestants believed the shit they endured was worth it. Like, yeah, maybe they felt sick, they vomited, they cried, lost their freaking marbles over this, but it was all worth it because now they're happy and healthy. A few months of torture is nothing compared to years of health and joy, right? Wrong. That's not the case at all, and on so many different levels. We'll start with the first one, and that's the absolute shame and humiliation many of these contestants endured, and endured publicly. Rachel Fredrickson, for example, had a big reveal at the end of season 15. She stepped onto the stage having lost the majority of her body weight, and as many were quick to point out, she was thin. Now when viewers watched her, they said she looked, quote, anorexic, whereas before, she'd been shamed for being obese. There was no winning for her. She'd been shamed for being overweight, and now she was being shamed for losing that weight. But those are the viewers. That's not the program's fault.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at what the program did. According to Kai Hibbard, who we mentioned earlier, the show would pick winners and villains as many reality TV shows do. Yet some of the villains of the show weren't mean people at all. Hibbard claimed that one of the women, Heather, that the program made to look like, quote, combative lazy bitch, in actuality had a torn calf and had developed bursitis in both knees. They tried to make her run, and when she refused, the show portrayed it as laziness. Now, not only is this so
That
fucking
is
obnoxious to do to Heather,
really
but
fucked
it
up.
doesn't help anyone that's struggling to lose weight. It
Right.
sends the message to viewers that some overweight people are just lazy and don't care enough to take care of themselves, when that's a stereotype that really doesn't need any reinforcing. Heather was injured, plain and simple. Not running because of a torn calf muscle is a damn good reason to take a break and to know your limits. Terry, on the other hand, suffered a broken bone and pushed herself to continue. She was made to look like a hero, so determined and brave. And while yeah, her determination is admirable, it doesn't seem fair that someone who pauses to take a breather so they don't risk further injury is bitchy, seemingly without the show bothering to explain why, while someone who does push through is a hero. Like, please, know your limits, listen to your doctor's orders, and listen to your body. And yet, there's still more damage that's been done here, and some of it is permanent. One study published in 2012
Banana.
sought to understand why the Biggest Loser contestants put on weight so quickly. Apparently, it's not just because the show failed to teach about long-term weight loss, even though I'd guess that's part of the reason, but because their metabolisms were damaged. The show's contestants were compared to those who have gastric bypass surgery. While they did lose more fat and less muscle than surgery recipients, their drop in resting metabolic rate was double. AKA, they were starved to reach those low weights, and by the time their bodies started eating again, their metabolisms had crashed. Contestants say that this is the real reason that The Biggest Loser doesn't do reunions because they're, quote, all fat again. It's apparently an unspoken but obvious fact among those that go on the program, but they're discouraged from talking about it or disparaging the show. Granted, while these contestants told the New York Post, not the most reputable sources I know, but it doesn't seem like there were that many sources discussing this topic at all, unfortunately. Instead, reputable people promoted the program like Michelle Obama, who appeared on it twice. Slowly but surely, though, people questioning The Biggest Loser gained traction. In 2016 and around this era, more and more articles came out wondering how healthy the program actually is. Trainers said that they turned down the program for ethical reasons, and more studies came out against The Biggest Loser. Not only the ones about metabolism, but some studies actually said that the program generated significantly higher levels of dislike for people with obesity. And make no mistake, people have been talking about this since the beginning, even if they weren't always heard. The winner of the 2005 season, Ryan Benson, actually started his own program to talk about his problems since The Biggest Loser, like regaining weight. According to Ryan, he couldn't stick to the show's extremely high standard and he slipped back into his old habits. He took his second chance, though, and started to lose the weight in a healthy way from the looks of things.
I bet that's
the former
a disaster
executive
as
producer
well.
of The Biggest Loser is even the one helping him, along with several other former Biggest Loser contestants. And in my opinion, this reflects so poorly on the program. The more contestants that come out and say, hey, I gained more weight and I feel terrible, the more it proves that their way simply does not work. Like, listen, it's one thing to have a couple of people say it didn't work for them, because that's statistically possible. But when there's an entire reality show seemingly dedicated to fixing the mistakes of another reality TV show, that's a bit asinine. Are some contestants bound to get a bit heavier? Yes, weight does fluctuate. But studies from Scientific American have less than 10% of contestants able to actually keep the weight off. Only one of the former 14 contestants haven't gained weight. Just one. And as all of this information came out, The Biggest Loser started to plummet. Jillian Michaels was finally fired from the program, which, according to one source, was because of her criticism of Rachel's massive loss. Rachel already had people dogpiling her, saying she looked anorexic and making those ridiculously unnecessary comments. I guess it finally became too much when a coach joined in. The studies, the criticism, the former contestants saying it didn't work for them, all of it culminated in the show being canceled. Hell, even Jillian herself eventually spoke out against how the program was run as a contestant and said that the show needed a mental health professional, but I find it pretty hard to take her critique seriously when she contributed to the problem so massively. So yeah, Jillian, some of those contestants probably did need therapy to help them work through their emotional problems or even binge eating disorders. If you knew that, why did you mock them for vomiting? Anyway, it's clear that contestants have been harmed in some capacity through this program. So it's a great thing it's dead, right? Well, not really, because this program has been dragged from the grave where it belongs and resuscitated. And unfortunately, it's not just doing harm to the people that appear on the program, but misleading the people that watch it too. And before we get into some of these lasting aftershock effects of The Biggest Loser, I'm just going to take a quick moment to thank today's sponsors. Research shows that sex is as mental as it is physical, so you need more than just an amazing vibrator. If you dog-eared that one sexy chapter in a romance novel, or you have that particular scene in a movie that you always fantasize about, Dipsy can help you get there in a new way. With Dipsy, you can skip straight to the good parts. And that's because Dipsy is the app full of hundreds of short, sexy audio stories designed by women for women. They bring scenarios to life with immersive soundscapes and realistic characters. Find stories about an intriguing co-worker or hooking up with a hot yoga instructor. Whatever.
Welcome in, Kels. How are you? All right, only for women. Listen. It's we're gonna let the ad play.
Here's your flavor, they've probably got you covered. New content is released every week, so in between listening to your favorite stories again and again, you can always find something new to explore. And Dipsy also has sleep stories, wellness sessions, and sexy stories you can read
Legion,
too.
please.
So let Dipsy be
I
your
swear
go-to
to
place to
God.
spice up your me time, explore your fantasies,
glad, Kels.
relax and unwind, or heat things up with a partner. And for listeners of the show, Dipsy is offering an extended 30-day free
Thank you,
trial
Kung
when
Fu.
you go to dipsystories.com/casket. That's 30 days of full access for free when you go to
30 days.
dipseastories.com/casket.
Hold on. 30 days, chat. Let me move out of the way. There you go. That's the link. 30 days. Also, yes, if you need energy for that new vibrator, exclamation point ADV, use code OMGBs at checkout. Good shit.
dipsystories.com/casket.
Yeah. A lot of creators do that, Banana.
The Biggest Loser is as misleading as any other reality.
Honestly, I just think that, like, you know, for as much of Illuminati's content as we watch together here, I know that there's Illuminati enjoyers and the people that go watch it, you know, on their own, but this is quality content. I'm happy to share their ads with y'all. Just saying.
Program. The way they've portrayed people that are injured perpetuates the harmful stereotype that overweight people are always lazy, and the way they depict losing
Legion
weight is far from accurate.
247 says own your only pocket OMG be Berta feel the best stories be Berta.
Legion, please.
Accurate. Do contestants allegedly lose a lot of weight by effectively starving themselves? They do, but 2 pounds a day or more each week? That's not realistic. 1 week on the show can be multiple weeks of filming, about 3 weeks according to Hibbard. So losing 17 pounds in 3 weeks still isn't healthy. It's still about 3 times—
Wait, 17 pounds? Or 7? Did I mishear that? Was that 7 or 17?
as much as what's considered healthy weight loss by medical professionals. But at least it's not 8 to 17 times as much, I guess. Unfortunately, with the return of The Biggest Loser comes the return of their fundamentally toxic setup, as The Atlantic puts it. They claim to have a holistic 360-degree look at wellness now, just like the pivot we saw Weight Watchers take recently, or whatever, WW. Sure, it's great if these brands actually care about health
Weight Watchers
as opposed
is
to numbers on a
rebranded
scale.
now?
But should they really be given a second chance? Have they earned that after the harm they caused?
Holy shit, Banana.
According to The Atlantic, the answer is a resounding no. They still have massive weigh-ins for extended periods of time, and there's still very little attention paid to food whatsoever. For a show that's now all about wellness, you'd think The Biggest Loser would at least attempt to keep their word and discuss nutrition or more aspects of getting healthy, but that really doesn't seem to be the case. Instead, and interestingly enough, this article accuses them of fetishizing workout culture as much as ever.
Thank you for the follow.
One contestant, Kat, a cardiac nurse by the way,
Thank you for
told
being
her
here.
trainer
Welcome
Erica
in.
that she felt lightheaded. Yet this medical professional was told to keep pushing, and that if people were puking,
Thank
they
you for the
aren't
dicks.
working hard enough. But The Atlantic does give them credit for one thing, and I quote, "Despite all this, the show can be useful if only because it's illustrative of how fundamentally broken American attitudes towards health can be." So, congratulations to The Biggest Loser. You truly are, as a program, The Biggest Loser. The only thing they're good for is demonstrating what not to do to the fullest extent. Losing weight and health are not mutually exclusive, and they aren't about exercising to the point of vomiting or harming yourself.
Yeah.
The program celebrates unhealthy habits, starvation, and shaming bigger bodies instead of encouraging people to talk to professionals. And, you know, also the whole thing of attaining health in a way that's sustainable and long-lasting. So please, if one thing I can imbue onto you today, don't watch The Biggest Loser. It won't teach you healthy habits. It probably won't help these contestants in the long run either. Studies have shown time and time again the harm that this show has caused, whether it's through the metabolism or because people watching it end up developing negative attitudes towards obese people. Clearly, this program isn't doing much good for anyone except the people that stand to make a profit from it. I hope this program goes off the air again, and this time, I hope it stays off. But with all of that being said, that is where I'm ending today's episode of The Corporate Casket and the last Corporate Casket of the year. Now, knowing that, the new year, new me stuff is on its way, and obviously I am talking about weight loss and stuff like that. If that is part of your goal in 2023, just remember to be safe and be healthy about it. You only have one life, right? And if you mess this one up for you because you've totally blown your metabolism trying to lose money on a TV show that literally could not really give a shit about you, just think about it for more than a second. I know weight is a really important thing to a lot of folks. I get it. I'm with you too. But just remember that you're still a person at the end of the day, and you need to take care of yourself. I'm someone who totally forgets to take care of myself a lot. And now, as I'm kind of getting older, I'm feeling the effects of it. So I'm just saying, especially if you're a younger listener and you're looking to lose weight, please be safe about it. Take your time. Doing it slowly is really the better way to do it. Was it slow and steady wins the race, something like that? Do that. Don't rush into it. I know it can be exciting to watch numbers on the scale drop out of nowhere, but please be safe and take care of yourself.
Big agree, chat. Big agree.
That's the end of today's episode. I hope you have a great New Year's Eve if you're celebrating or doing anything.
I did.
I'll see you guys in the next year. Bye.
Big agree. RX-7 IMO. Why do you pick the Miata over the RX-7? All right, we're going to watch the Chubby Emu video about caffeine now, I think. Miata's cute. Hey, that's fair. That's fair. Do you like the look of the MX-5? Of course, Kung Fu is going to say RX-7. Not shocking to me at all. Okay, this video is going to be probably horrifying. Just fair warning. Fair warning, probably horrifying. I am biased. I feel like in general, I don't know. Chat. RX-7's fantastic feat of engineering. I don't know what the general consensus would be. So if you just ask that to 100 people, what would win? But I don't know. The RX-7 is just badass. All right, here we go.
A man dry scooped 35,000 milligrams of caffeine.
Would most people? Okay, so 100 people that would have an opinion on it. 100 people that would have an opinion on it, what their opinion would be. I think the Miata might have a more broad appeal, but then again, that might depend on the demographic asked as well. Cell dweller, yeah. Yeah, I paused it. So when I start the music back up, it'll be that. Yeah, 35,000 milligrams. Good luck.
This is what happened to his organs. E.T. is a 37-year-old man presenting to the emergency room agitated, confused, and complaining of a massive headache. Paramedics tell the admitting nurse that they saw him have a seizure in the ambulance. When it was finished, they noticed that his heart was beating erratically. E.T. was devoted to his gym lifestyle. In his early 20s in college, he knew that that age was the prime time in his entire life to build not only a solid base of muscle, but also a solid foundation of discipline. He ate clean, he didn't party, he slept well and consistently put in his hours to become as strong as he could be, and it paid off. Even though he knew he wouldn't be able to keep up to be as strong later in life. E.T. never really bought into the hype of supplements. He knew that consistency and eating well and training well were always the most important. But when he did take supplements...
And then he slipped up one time, chat. Bam, 35,000 milligrams of caffeine. What a shame.
He'd save money by buying raw ingredients and creating his own mix. One day, while transferring ingredients from the wholesaler's bags to his own containers, E.T. mislabeled the caffeine powder for branched-chain amino acids. As he mixed his custom supplement blend, he thought something was different. Usually, the amino acids had a particular texture and didn't clump up into chunks like how powdered caffeine does.
E.T.,
Even though it looked and felt a little different, he thought maybe the factory used a different way to manufacture things. Maybe it was a different batch. He wasn't really paying that much attention this time around. Everything was white powder and it was just hard to tell a difference.
Your dog is, you should probably get that checked out, Raiden.
The mixture was ready. E.T. had no idea the sheer amount of caffeine powder in this particular mix, that just a single scoop alone contained a lethal dose of caffeine as he placed the container on his shelf. The next day, E.T. prepared his peri-workout supplement, something to drink to keep him hyped during his training session, but he was completely oblivious to the fact that he was about to consume a lethal dose of caffeine. In the middle of one of his sets, he decided he would dry scoop it as he popped the powder into his mouth and washed it down with some drink. He noticed it tasted really funny, kinda bitter with a peculiar aftertaste. Maybe the factory really changed those amino acids.
What a fucking, well, was a fucking savage. Absolutely insane. Fuck that.
Immediately after swallowing 35,000 milligrams of caffeine, E.T. noticed something weird. He wasn't sure what was wrong with the taste. He thought the workout was a little weird while he was doing it, so maybe he just tweaked something, he thought. As the minutes passed, E.T. started feeling like he was getting hit by a slow-moving train. He felt his stomach was burning, but his heart was starting to beat faster and faster. He started feeling dizzy, as it felt like an animal was chewing its way out of his stomach. He felt an overwhelming sense of doom as he started hyperventilating.
Oh, Christ.
Unknowingly, E.T.'s pupils start to dilate as his vision starts to blur. He stumbled around, and in the shuffle, he felt a tingle through his cheeks as liquid gushed under his tongue, and he heaved into the toilet. At home now, E.T. lay down on the floor. He could feel a massive pain in his chest. He called for 911 because he was in such a horrible panic. In the ambulance now, E.T. finally has his first seizure as he's brought to the emergency room where we are now. Clearly, all of E.T.'s problems are because of the 35,000 milligrams of caffeine he accidentally consumed in his home-mixed workout supplement, but
I think if I'm ever feeling that sense of doom and that shitty at the gym, I'm gonna just go ahead and call the ambulance. I'm just gonna go ahead and call 911 and be like, something's fucked up. Help me. Help. I don't think I'm gonna wait until I get to the house and be like, no, this is real bad. I'm now on the floor having seizures.
E.T. doesn't know really what he consumed. He just knew that all of this started after he drank that mix, and doctors also have no idea what happened, but they noticed that his body temperature was high, and a blood test finds that he has hyperglycemia. Hyper meaning high, glyce from ancient Greek, origin of the word glucose referring to sugar, and emia meaning presence in blood. High sugar presence in blood. If E.T.'s heart rate is high, his heart rhythm is erratic, if he's shaking and he just had a seizure, then you could reasonably guess that maybe he's hopped up on a chemical stimulant. His hyperglycemia was from the stimulant triggering a chemical message to the body that it's time to fight or flight, cueing the body to immediately mobilize glucose stores from his body in an effort to supply cells and muscle with energy in order to perform that fight or flight. E.T. appears to be experiencing sympathomimetic toxidrome. Toxidrome, a combination of the word syndrome, referring to a group of symptoms happening simultaneously, and a toxin being a poison. Sympatho referring to the sympathetic nervous system, the one responsible for the fight or flight response as opposed to rest and digest, and mimetic meaning an imitation of. E.T. has symptoms happening together that's imitating a response that would be elicited by a natural function of one part of the nervous system caused by a massive ingestion of a toxin unknown to E.T. and the medical team but known to us as 35,000 milligrams of caffeine, almost 90 times the daily recommended limit. As
400 is the recommended limit. It's fine.
The medical team reads the results of E.T.'s blood tests. They find that he has hypokalemia. Hypo meaning low. Kali referring to potassium, or more formally kalium as shown by its symbol on the periodic table of elements. Low potassium presence in blood. But what does this mean? Potassium, like sodium above it, on the periodic table is an electrolyte that signals to cells to do or to stop doing things. Sodium is primarily outside of cells, and potassium is primarily inside cells. Moving in and out and being present or absent are how these electrolytes send their messages. One place that relies heavily on these signals is muscle tissue. The nerves signal for a contraction by sending neurotransmitters. Sodium enters the cells to signal for a contraction. Calcium enters, telling the muscles to commit to a contraction. And potassium...
Bodies are insane. It is absolutely fucking insane that we just move around and generally are okay. Absolutely fucking insane. This kind of thing just makes my entire like, oh my God, I just,
Potassium signals relaxation. Too much potassium means that the muscles relax for a long time, and too little means that the muscles won't stop contracting, bringing us to hypokalemia. If there's low potassium presence in blood and too little potassium means that the muscles won't stop contracting, then it could make sense as to why ET is so jittery and why he's shaking. The heart is a muscle too, and if it can't relax properly, this could explain why ET's heart is beating so erratically. And as the medical team gets ready to admit ET into the hospital, his heart rhythm is so fast and erratic that his heart suddenly stops beating. Doctors scramble to resuscitate ET. We know that ET accidentally consumed a lethal dose of caffeine. Hyperglycemia could be a result of that fight or flight response, and
overdose on soy
hypokalemia
sauce?
could have caused his
Jesus
twitching muscles and his
Christ.
cardiac arrest. But why did these happen? Well, caffeine is found in nature in cocoa beans and tea leaves. The interesting thing about caffeine's chemical structure is that it's similar in shape to something else that's produced and used everywhere inside humans called adenosine. Our DNA is made of it. You might recognize it through the chemical manufactured by our mitochondria and used by our cells for energy, ATP, adenosine.
I wasn't gonna say it. I wasn't gonna say it.
Like this one here, where animals live and thrive, and they work. There's an endangered species right there.
It's just just get yourself a little caffeine, chat. Just a little caffeine. Don't SMH me, Tinko. Neeples. Oh no. You switch back to the tab right at that. Mid Valley High. When they're unsymmetrical, listen, they all deserve love. Don't be judgmental, Mid Valley.
Cocoa beans and tea leaves. The interesting thing about caffeine's chemical structure is that it's similar in shape to something else that's produced and used everywhere inside humans called adenosine. Our DNA is made of it. You might recognize it through the chemical manufactured by our mitochondria and used by our cells for energy, ATP, adenosine triphosphate. In the body, certain chemicals fit inside spaces on the cell surface, or maybe it'll fit into something inside the cell. Binding into these spaces tells the cells to do or to stop doing things. So, a chemical needs the physical shape to fit in. It's kind of like a square peg that should fit in a square hole. And this is where...
That's right, Chad. It goes in the square hole. I'm assuming that the problem that this dude is about to run into is that there are so many different shaped things that the correct ones can't make their way to the square hole. I'm assuming that that's going to be the problem. Like, there's just so fucking many. It's just impossible. Amazing video to take out of context. Context, yes, it is. Yeah. There are many types of overdose that work like that. Yeah. My cock is confused by this whole. Don't worry about it. Just proceed as you think you should.
Where all the problems with caffeine poisoning happen. In a brief moment, ET tells doctors that all of this started happening after he swallowed some supplements post-workout. It was okay that he created his own mix because he knew exactly which ingredients to list, and this tells the medical team everything that they need to know because caffeine was the only ingredient capable of doing this. In the brain, adenosine helps balance neurotransmitters, one of which helps calm the brain, preventing overexcitation. Because caffeine is shaped like adenosine, it fits into those places in the brain instead of adenosine. At regular amounts that you drink in one coffee, it's not a huge deal, but at lethal dose amounts, like in ET's case, it can cause such an extreme imbalance that electricity discharges everywhere in the brain, explaining his seizure. You can start to see why all of this is happening now. In the heart, adenosine helps regulate pacemaker cells. If caffeine is there, preventing adenosine from performing its function, then those pacemaker cells can't be regulated anymore. The heart starts to lose its normal pace, and it starts to beat erratically, but it doesn't stop here. In the blood vessels...
Heartbeats actually really freak me out. Don't limit yourself. It's kind of crazy. There's this shit in the heart that yeah, right, Banana.
Adenosine helps maintain how relaxed and how constricted blood vessels are. If a huge dose of caffeine is blocking it, then the blood vessels tense up and they constrict, increasing blood pressure and decreasing blood flow. This is a problem in the brain because blood vessels there can be constricted, limiting blood flow during a time where overexcitation would cause the cells to need more oxygen for the increased activity, but that blood can't get there because of the vasoconstriction. But this is only the start of ET's problems. This brings us back to the idea of fight or flight. Caffeine in the setting of overdose sets off a chemical cascade in the cells. As the signal amplifies itself, it ends with the release of adrenaline into the blood. Typically, when the body is in immediate stress, adrenaline is released to activate that fight or flight response. Almost immediately, deposits of sugar in the liver are released into the blood so that the muscles can use them for energy. The heart immediately starts beating faster to supply blood to the rest of the body, but this brings us back to the name sympathomimetic toxidrome.
Oh no!
If the fight or flight response is from the sympathetic nervous system, but adrenaline is a hormone released into the blood from glands that are above the kidneys, which are not part of the nervous system, then it means that there could be another chemical released from the nervous system due to this fatal dose of caffeine. Noradrenaline is that chemical, and it quickly spreads all throughout ET's nervous system, sending extreme signals. It gets to his muscles, which now have an abundance of sugar to use for energy because of hyperglycemia. The incessant signal from the brain and the nerves cause the muscles to twitch. Because the muscles are so active now, they're producing heat, explaining why ET's body temperature was so high. Because they're so active, they're producing metabolic wastes. The body needs to balance this waste out, so it takes potassium from the blood and shoves it into the cells, explaining his hypokalemia. But potassium is supposed to signal muscle relaxation, and there isn't enough of it in the blood to make that signal. And this is happening at a time when adrenaline and noradrenaline are sent.
So he's literally just going to turn into like one giant cramp. He's just, everything's going to constrict as he like panics and his heart like explodes. I don't need a doctor's jacket for this video. I just need it to fucking stop.
Sending signals nonstop, telling the muscles to contract, and without that proper relax signal, the muscle of the heart starts beating more and more erratically until suddenly it isn't beating anymore. The stopping of blood flow means that oxygen can't get to ET's muscles during a time when their energy demand is high. The muscles and the brain start to starve of oxygen and die. As the medical team keeps trying to resuscitate ET because his heart keeps stopping, the dead muscle tissue can leak its contents and spill protein and iron in the blood. When the heart starts circulating blood again, those dead muscle remnants can collect in his kidneys, and they can start damaging the tubules, causing permanent injury. This is what happened to ET's brain, his heart, his muscles, and his kidneys after drinking 35,000 milligrams of caffeine. Is there anything that can be done for ET? Maybe. This brings us back to the chemical structure of caffeine. First, the molecule is small and light. This could make it easy to handle. Second, caffeine is hydrophilic. Hydro meaning water and philic meaning affinity for. This means that caffeine dissolves preferentially in water as opposed to oil, which doesn't mix well with water, so caffeine wouldn't widely distribute into fat tissue in the body. All of this meaning that caffeine is more likely to stay in the blood than hide inside the organs where it would be impossible to extract out once it's in. Because of this, it could be possible to clean ET's blood of caffeine. He's hooked up to a dialysis machine where his blood flow is diverted to a machine so that it can remove caffeine. The clean blood is then sent back to his body for normal function. Because ET drank his caffeine recently, it may not yet be too late. It might still be possible to decontaminate his stomach and prevent the caffeine from absorbing into his blood. Activated charcoal was given to him in the hopes that the remaining caffeine in his stomach would stick to the surface of the charcoal, not absorb into the blood to do its damage, and eventually pass out of his body. Hours after the dialysis was started, ET no longer had any seizures and his heart rhythm started to normalize.
That's insane.
Hyperglycemia isn't life-threatening in this context, and it too started to resolve soon after. Because his hypokalemia was a function of potassium shift into his cells, his body didn't actually lose potassium, so aggressively replacing it wasn't necessary, and equilibrium was re-established. Days later, ET was able to make a full recovery as he returned home and returned to his original affirmation that supplements are a nice to have, but food and consistent training are must-haves for true gains in the gym. Thanks so much for...
So all of these are actually things that happened, right? Like these are real events, yeah? I'm pretty sure that's the premise of like the Chubby Emu videos, right? Yeah, what a fucking yeah, I did not think that motherfucker was gonna make it. No, I mean that. I don't think that's pure luck. I think it's because we have crazy fucking machines that can take your blood out, filter it, and put better blood back into you. Like that is getting to the hospital before your body fucking melts. Oh my god! If you want a crazy rare case, the DMP poisoning is the one case that someone survived it. Oh, that's insane. We can watch another one, chat. What's the vibe? These things, I mean, I enjoy these videos. That I would not fucking watch this shit on my own. I would not watch this shit on my own. But like, they are interesting. My ex is actually in the medical field, and she used to tell me shit that like it would instantly just make my skin crawl. Like I just can fucking not. It's not a job that I could ever do. It's not necessarily because like I can't deal with it. It makes me think about like how fragile we are, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm just like panic. Terrible. Yeah, lucky they caught in time. Yeah, if he hadn't, can you imagine like doing an autopsy on that and just being like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Good old existential crisis, right? Yeah, Clementine. Hi, by the way, welcome. Thank you for being here. What are some of Chabima's top videos? Videos by popular Mercury, skin cancer with a pocket knife, 150 gummy vitamins, 3 gallons of water in 2 hours, 500 reps in 20 minutes. Why would you do that? Why would you? Mir, hi Mir, how are you? Good to fucking see you. 5-day-old pasta? Was it just on the counter the whole time? Why the fuck would you do that? Why would you do that? 100 zinc vitamin C gummies? Spag, I don't think that there's a video about SpaghettiOs. First day back at work, tired. Well, congratulations on making it through your first day, or if you're in the middle of it, good luck. What a poignant song for this situation. TikToker drank 1 bottle of nutmeg. Eight scoops of pre-workout. 2 liters of fiber supplement? Which one, chat? Give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts, requests. 3 liters of rum every day? Nutmeg? Anybody else for nutmeg? Nutmeg sounds interesting. We're watching Chubby Emu videos. We started watching a video about how The Biggest Loser is fucked up. 420. Blaze it. Tinko. The one that has nut in the title. Ayo. That led us to a Chubby Emu video about somebody that dry scooped 35,000 milligrams of caffeine and somehow fucking lived. Yeah, get some fucking rest, Tinko. Yeah, we can watch the nutmeg one. I'm simply vibing for a minute with this song. You missed the second half of the guy not dying. Somehow, dialysis saved the motherfucker. Dialysis and a shitload of charcoal. You should sleep soon. Yeah. Yeah, we've been live for a while. I don't even, what fucking time is it? Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna watch the Nutmeg one next. He pooped the caffeine out. He a lot of different ways the caffeine out. It's amazing that some of them are brought back from the brink of death and some are like, lol, bacterial infection, see ya. That's just modern medicine. It's insane. Good night, Tinko. Rest well. Rest well. Yeah, modern medicine is actually amazing. It really is. Unknown bacterial infections are so crazy dangerous, even with modern medicine. Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean, and you can literally just get got from, like, the most random bullshit. You really can. Yeah, absolutely will. Absolutely. And what's crazy is like how much we know and how much we don't know. How much we still don't know. But there's so much about the brain that we're just like, huh. Huh. All right, it's nutmeg time, chat. It's nutmeg time. And we won't know more because grant agencies are not giving out money for basic research anymore. Unfortunate. I'm assuming that there's lots of reasons for that. Did you ever see the story of the 17-year-old that a snail went into a coma and died? No, that is news to me. Sauce Cheeks! Holy shit! Welcome. How are you? Happy New Year. Get a shout out for Sauce Cheeks, please. I don't know if I have a mod in chat at the moment, actually. Hold on. I got you. Yeah, Happy New Year. How are you? We're about to watch a video about a TikToker that drank a bottle of nutmeg. You're dancing? Whoop whoop. I am glad. I was just dancing myself. Follow Sauce Cheeks. Do it. Do it.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bernard. I'm a toxicologist. People have been doing this for hundreds of years. Stop doing it. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
A TikToker drank 1 bottle of nutmeg spice in a protein shake. This is what happened to his brain. GG.
Don't eat snails. They have rat cell worm bacteria that can go right into the brain. Yeah, it's just like don't swim in the wrong like pool of water. You might get shit in your brain as well. Just
is a 19-year-old man presenting to the emergency room with dry mouth.
It's an ominous name. That's a very ominous name.
He tells the admitting nurse that tiny little Smurfs were dancing around his feet and that some of them had turned into pickles. It was the funniest thing he had ever seen. GG was an average 19-year-old in 2020 America. Because schools were closed, his classes were online. He skipped them so that he could meme on the internet. Over the past few days, hashtag Nutmeg Challenge had become popular. Nutmeg is...
Actually, now that I think about it, I remember this being a thing. It's like all it takes is like one person actually trying. It's like the Tide Pod challenge. I'm pretty sure. Is there a Chubby Emu video about eating Tide Pods? Because I'm pretty sure that someone actually ate a Tide Pod and like that shit just straight up fucking kills you.
Is when soccer players kick the ball between their opponent's legs, but that name could be taken literally. And in Gigi's mind, he was going to take it literally. He was going to drink a protein shake flavored with a whole bottle of nutmeg spice and post the video online. Immediately after drinking a bottle of nutmeg spice in his protein shake, Gigi felt okay. It didn't taste good. It felt grainy in his throat on the way down. It left a funny aftertaste that he thought should have been minty, but it wasn't. The shake was mixed in cold water, and he instantly had a brain freeze. I'm Badlands Chugs now, he thought. Time to post the video online and play some video games now, he thought. As the hours passed, Gigi's mouth started drying out. He felt like his tongue was becoming sandpaper, grinding the roof of his mouth into sawdust. He drank a gallon of water, but the more he drank, the thirstier he got. In the bathroom now, Gigi saw himself running in the mirror, but the faster he ran, the rounder he got. His walls started melting, his heart started pounding, but then little bugs started crawling underneath his skin. He tried to drink more water and told his mom that he was gonna drink the ocean.
My brother in Christ, just go find some mushrooms, for fuck's sake.
Face was as red as a beet. He was hot and flushed, and he could feel himself crawling out of his own skin. He drank a total of 4 gallons of water over a few hours as his speech started to slur. He became visibly agitated, and as hard as he tried, he just couldn't urinate any of the water out. His bladder was like a balloon ready to pop. In the bathroom again, Gigi collapses. He starts seizing. In the commotion, his mom finds him on the floor.
If you do it yourself, I kind of fucking doubt it. Mir, I kind of fucking doubt it.
In and out of consciousness. She calls for 911 as he's brought to the emergency room where we are now. At examination, Gigi was agitated but alert. He was flushed but had no fever, breathing.
Obviously, clearly in Minecraft, nutmeg is it's fine. It's fine, chat. It's fine.
Was normal, his heart rate was fast, his blood pressure was high, and he had an arrhythmia. He told doctors that little elves were crawling up his stomach. He warned the doctors that the elves were going to come out soon, bearing gifts of canned carrots. He said that even after drinking the entire ocean, he still hadn't urinated yet that day. But Gigi hung his head in silence. He gripped the armrests of his chair, fighting the
Which video did you find? Well, hold on,
urge to vomit as he seizes again for the second time. Doctors had no idea that Gigi drank a whole bottle of nutmeg.
Holy
he didn't
shit.
tell them that. But given this
3?
history of present illness, there's several clues.
Thank you, Will.
what's happened.
Thank you.
Gigi complained
Maybe we'll
of dry
watch it
mouth.
next.
This
We'll
is
probably
why he
watch
was
it
so
next.
thirsty.
I'm not gonna lie. We're
but
probably
if
gonna
4
watch it
gallons
next.
of water didn't fix it, then
We're
what
down
was
this
going
rabbit
on?
hole. It's
well,
too late.
It looks like he wasn't producing any saliva. His
It's
body
too
was
late.
flushed and red, but he didn't have a fever, and he wasn't sweating. This brings us to the idea of rest and digest. When you take a nap in the middle of the day, you sweat. Your heart rate slows. That's the rest. When you see or smell delicious food, you salivate. That's the digest. Both of these are controlled by your nervous system. But Gigi isn't sweating despite being flushed. He doesn't have any saliva in his mouth. His heart is pounding. All of this means that he has a blockage of rest and digest in his nervous system. But where did that come from?
Fucking sushi made me hungry.
At this point, Gigi didn't even know who he was talking to anymore. He unlocked his phone and showed the doctors the video that he made. And this tells them everything that they need to know because the nutmeg spice has poisoned his body, causing problems with his brain and his heart. Nutmeg spice is from the nutmeg tree. Ignore the spice part, because if you drink an entire bottle for haha funny TikTok memes, you're not treating it like a spice. Like everything that's herbal and natural, nutmeg has hundreds of chemicals in it. Natural things are all made of chemicals. Inside the spice is a chemical named myristicin. Gigi drank it. It went into his stomach, into his intestines, and then absorbed into his liver, where it was broken down and metabolized. This metabolism is so that parts of the chemicals that are reactive get neutralized, so that they can't damage other parts of the body. But how does this myristicin get broken down? Scientists thought that this could happen, which makes it look a lot like this alpha-methylphenylethylamine, amine, something that we know as a treatment for ADHD, among other things. In synapse, where the nerves connect. Chemicals send signals. When the signal is done, the synapse needs to clear itself.
Fuck! Yeah, miscalculation sure as shit happened. That is insane. This is...
Signals aren't sent non-stop. This means that those chemicals need to be pumped back in or broken down. But if an alpha-methylphenylethylamine is present, the synapse doesn't get cleared. It goes into the cell and it forces more chemical out, sending signals non-stop, continuously stimulating the nerve. This is why we call it a stimulant. This could be the reason for Gigi's problems at the moment, but something's wrong. Alpha-methylphenylethylamine in large amounts pushes out things like adrenaline. What happens during an adrenaline rush? Your heart starts to race, your body temperature increases, you might even urinate yourself. The adrenaline rush puts you in fight or flight mode. This is the exact opposite of rest and digest mode.
In a
Both
sense,
of these are controlled
Legion,
by opposite ends of the same nervous system. Blockage of rest and digest, which is what Gigi appears to have, doesn't mean a promotion of fight or flight mode. If the nutmeg that he ate became a large dose of alpha-methylphenylethylamine in his body, then he should be in fight or flight mode. He wouldn't be holding on
maybe
to his
not
urine
then.
the way that he is, and he would have a high body temperature, which would mean fever. But he doesn't have those, meaning that myristicin might not be broken down this way. And this isn't the only chemical that's in nutmeg spice. L-amycin, which is only one change away from myristicin, is also in it. After liver metabolism, L-amycin could look like another phenylethylamine, one that comes from a cactus and also causes hallucinations. This could explain Gigi's tweaked out state, but the reality is that we're not really sure that these breakdowns actually happen in humans because Gigi has a blockage of rest and digest and not a promotion of fight or flight. While nutmeg is a funny spice and haha TikTok memes, it does things in the body. Maybe it does become psychoactive chemicals in the body, or the chemicals in it are already psychoactive in themselves when consumed in large amounts, like a whole bottle in a protein shake. But we still don't know for sure, and this isn't something that you should want to play around with.
Right,
The reason that something hasn't been done about this might be because almost no one says that this experience is pleasant. Overwhelmingly, no one ever really wants to do it again, and you shouldn't ever do it in the first place. Usually, herbal products that are common today have Greek and Roman roots, but nutmeg trees don't grow anywhere near Greece or Rome. Western ancients never wrote about nutmeg. They probably didn't know about it. 1195 AD was the first written account of it in Europe when an emperor entered Rome and the streets were fumigated with myristica. That's nutmeg before chemists knew what myristicin was. It was the Arabian traders who imported it in from the islands. The effects of nutmeg on the brain and heart have been known for hundreds of years now. In the 1300s, a book of remedies written in High Middle German described using nutmeg to get drunk. In 1576, Flemish physician Lobelius described an English woman who became delirious after eating 10 or 12 nutmegs. The English thought it could treat gas, but to no avail. Nutmeg has been around and well known for centuries, but the effects aren't so funny when they're happening. The Illinois Poison Center looked back and saw that one person had died during nutmeg toxicity, but they weren't sure if it was because of other medicines on top of it. For Gigi, the only thing that can be done is to let the spice clear from his body, except something's wrong. While huge amounts of nutmeg can affect the brain, the limited records that we have don't usually say that it causes seizures. Gigi said that he drank 4 gallons of water since he drank the spicy protein shake, and he noted that he didn't and couldn't urinate. If he drank all that water and none of it has exited his body from either end, then where could that water be? As this question is raised, Gigi seizes again in front of the medical team, and he doesn't regain consciousness after it's over. Doctor's suspicions are confirmed to find that Gigi not only has nutmeg poisoning, but he also has hyponatremia.
Yeah.
Hypo, meaning low. Natri referring to sodium, or more formally natrium, as shown by its symbol on the periodic table of elements, and emia, meaning presence in blood. Low sodium presence in blood. Gigi wasn't able to urinate. Urinary retention is a blockage of rest and digest. As his bladder stretched and distended, it signaled to the body to hold on to water by releasing something called antidiuretic hormone, also known as vasopressin. If a diuretic causes someone to urinate, then an antidiuretic prevents someone from urinating. If the bladder is stretched, the body doesn't want to produce any more urine because it's going to stretch the bladder more. So it lets out the hormone to tell everything to stop and to hold on to water. Gigi was also nauseous. Vomiting is a way that someone's going to lose water, so nausea is a powerful stimulus for the release of antidiuretic hormone. All of this meaning that those 4 gallons of water that he drank are now sitting inside of him, unable to get out. But if nothing has left his body, then how is it possible that there's
Yeah,
low
banana.
sodium?
It really is.
Nothing's left his body,
It
so there
really
shouldn't be
is.
less sodium present, right? Yes, but the water in your body is made of 0.9% sodium chloride. So for every 1 liter of water, there's 9 grams of salt. Most of the water in your body is inside of your cells, and in general exists with 0.9% sodium chloride. In the medical world, we call this normal saline or isotonic. The interesting thing about sodium is that wherever it is, water will flow towards it. In this small science experiment, I dissolved salt in this water and placed it into a tube. I submerged the tube in a pool of distilled water, and you'll see that water flows towards the salt. That water flows towards the sodium. If water flows towards where there's salt, and Gigi's blood has low sodium presence in blood, then it means that his body water is flowing into the cells. This would mean that his organs are swelling with water. This would mean that it's going into his stomach and his intestines. That should be okay because your abdomen is soft. But the water would also be going into his liver. It would be flowing into his heart and his muscles, but those aren't enclosed in a hard space either, so it wouldn't be too big of a problem if they swelled up inside. But how about the brain? The brain is enclosed in a hard space, the skull. The brain only has space to expand 8% in volume until it starts to crush up against the sides of the skull and ooze out of the sutures. As water keeps flowing into the sodium-rich cells of Gigi's body, his brain is starting to crush up against the sides of his skull, smashing blood vessels as it expands, preventing blood flow and causing hypoxia, or the deprivation of oxygen. This damage upon brain expansion is called herniation and means permanent brain damage in Gigi's case. The psychosis, the hallucinations, the final seizure without regain of consciousness. Since Gigi is still breathing, it may not yet be too late. He may not have herniated his brain just yet. The easiest way to treat this problem of his at this point is to use the same science that diagnosed his hyponatremia. If water follows sodium and water is flowing into his organs, then the fix is to draw that water out of his organs with even saltier water. If 0.9% sodium chloride is the standard in his body and the water that he drank is flowing towards that gradient, then infusing 3% hypertonic water into his veins will reverse the flow of that water back into his bloodstream and out of his brain. Doctors use a catheter to pull urine out of his bladder. There's not much that they can do to reverse the nutmeg other than to wait it out. All of these are reasons as to why it's not clear what nutmeg really does to the body. If nutmeg does become an alpha-methylphenolethanolamine, excess of those do cause the body to release a lot of antidiuretic hormone, causing someone to hold on to water. But did that actually happen? Or was it because nutmeg caused a blockage of rest and digest, causing urinary retention? Holding on to urine and stretching the bladder causes ADH secretion. Nausea stimulates it too. So which one was it? The psychoactive events following nutmeg could obscure the neurologic signs of confusion, agitation, and delirium that's also caused by physical changes to the brain during hyponatremia, when the water starts to swell into the brain.
Stop showing me this
the brain starts
picture.
to expand against the skull. Luckily for Gigi, no herniation occurred in his brain, and the 3% sodium infusion was enough to solve the hyponatremia and draw the water out of his brain. Upon regaining consciousness, he realized no amount of views on TikTok made that terrible experience worth it. Thank you so much for watching.
Crazy lucky. It's also insane. How many years ago do you think that he would have just fucking died? Like legitimately. Like how many years ago do you think you show up to the hospital with those symptoms and like they don't know how to fix it? Like 10 fucking years ago? 15? That like that's absolutely insane. It is wild how fucking stupid skirting the Darwin Award tisk. Yeah. These last two have gotten real fucking close. Just imagine not being able to like make it to the hospital or something. Like you're just done. You're just done. But like the fact that we live in a world where you can go to the hospital and they can figure that shit out and actually do things to bring you back from certain death, like certain fucking death. Like if they didn't have those bags of 3%, solution, you're just fucking dead. You're just dead. That's insane. Absolutely insane. I guess we're gonna watch the Tide Pod one next because we're just gonna continue on down the rabbit hole. We're here. It's too late. We've gone too far. This is our life now. God, I'm genuinely curious. I wish that I had like a doctor that I could ask. Like, how many fucking years ago do you genuinely think you could have done this to yourself and you would have just fucking died? You would have just died.
Take care of yourself and be well.
Yes, please. Chat.
JR is a
Don't yell at me.
17-year-old boy presenting to the emergency room with emesis, respiratory distress, and somnolence. His mother, Jane, tells the admitting nurse that he had been vomiting, gagging, and struggling to breathe for at least 30 minutes. You see, JR had been participating in a contest with friends, the Forbidden Fruit Challenge, where contenders would take videos of themselves chewing on laundry detergent pods, and the person with the most social media...
That was my fucking reaction. Why the fuck would you eat 3? The views, man. The views. The clout. I need it. I need the clout.
Media likes and comments would win nothing. Clearly, this was for jokes and memes on behalf of teenagers. JR was determined. He was going to, as he told his friends, experience the greatness of laundry pod flavor and become internet famous. He could feel a slight burning sensation waft up into his nose. Huddled over the sink, he was suddenly overcome by a severe burning, numbing sensation on his tongue. JR began coughing, retching. With his tongue paralyzed by the sensation, laundry detergent began to seep down into his throat. In his coughing fit, he aspirated some of the detergent into his trachea, corroding the tissue, compromising part of his airway as the liquid began to drip and ooze into his bronchi. With every cough, more and more detergent was lodged further and further into the airways of his lungs. His mother, Jane...
I mean... Sure, Mir. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's sort of fair.
Nerdy
but
existence, says Lord Bees.
What nerdy? What?
Lord Bees.
God.
I had a dream that I weighed less than 1,000th of a gram. I was like 0 milligrams.
Oh my God. Oh, nerdy. Back in proper form.
Here's the commotion and rush.
It didn't read it right, but I still appreciated it. I still appreciated it. OMG.
Is to him. She sees him vomiting his gastric contents, which come out with green and blue laundry detergent as he begins foaming at the mouth. As he collapses, he grips his chest and cries out in pain as he feels the detergent set fire to his esophagus down into his stomach. As he struggles to breathe in his panic, his lips begin to cyanose or turn blue. Confused and unaware as to what just happened, Jane looks around and sees the plastic wrapping of the laundry pods that JR spit out of his mouth. She calls the poison control center, who initially tells her to give her son water and to not induce vomiting, but his cyanose lips prompts a 911 call. In the ambulance, JR becomes more somnolent as he arrives to the emergency room where we are now.
Legend 247 says B.
Yep, I'm muted.
I poop. All the color last words. Tide Pods.
Professional streamer. I assume that they just put the whole damn Tide Pod in their mouth and like chomp down on it. I assume. Like, I don't know. But that's probably like, how the fuck do you swallow like any of that? Like, how is that a thing? I assume it tastes fucking terrible. Like, why would you do that multiple times? Why would you do that? Maybe put all 3 in his mouth at the same time. Maybe that's the problem. But like, doing that multiple times is just absolute fucking insanity.
Given the patient's immediate past history, It's very clear his symptoms are because of laundry detergent pod ingestion. First, JR is suffering from an early manifestation of caustic esophageal injury. Esophageal referring to the esophagus, the tube that connects the mouth to the stomach. Caustic referring to a burning or corrosion of organic tissue through chemical origin, referring back to the 3 laundry detergent pods that JR just consumed. There's a wide variability in the chemical composition of various laundry pods on the market, which brings us to the first challenge. Jane was unsure the brand of pod used in her household. Some are alkaline or strongly basic when in solution with water, like many other detergents and soaps. These agents can be at least 100,000 times more basic than human blood, and contact with mucosal surfaces like the esophagus induces liquefactive necrosis. Osis, meaning abnormal state. Necro, meaning death. And liquefactive, meaning as the tissue dies, it sloughs off into a liquid pus, disintegrating the lining of the esophagus as it rolls down into the stomach, causing deep penetration and possible tissue perforation. All of this happening within 1 second of contact. The pods JR consumed appear to be acidic in solution, opposite of alkaline, meaning instead they corrode the esophageal lining and instead induce coagulation necrosis, a state of death marked by clotted blood blocking the flow of oxygen and choking the cells to death. But this isn't the only problem. Because the patient was found gagging and choking, he's also suffering from upper airway injury, which leads us to the second challenge. JR presents with stridor, a high-pitched wheezing sound caused by disrupted airflow. His breathing is hoarse with coughing and choking, all of which exacerbates his hypoxemia. Hypo meaning low, ox referring to oxygen, and emia meaning presence in blood. Low oxygen presence in blood. Further examination finds that JR has tachycardia, tachy meaning fast and cardia referring to heart rate. It's measured at 130 beats per minute, more than 2 times that of normal. He's tachypnic, meaning his respiratory rate is much higher than normal. Both of these are combined with somnolence, as JR appears sleepy and lethargic. As the patient workup is continued by the medical team, JR suddenly loses consciousness. Given his hypoxemia, his upper airway distress, the severe tachycardia, and tachypnea, JR is now presenting with imminent respiratory failure. Without immediate airway management, he will go into cardiopulmonary arrest and die instantly. How is it possible that something so candy-like in appearance and so ubiquitous in availability could be this deadly? Well, there's a few things to consider. First, laundry pod detergent is more concentrated than free liquid product. This one pod is the equivalent of this much free laundry detergent. The interesting thing about detergent is that each molecule has simultaneous affinity for both water and fat. In this small science experiment, I put oil and water together in a jar. You can see that they don't mix, but when I add detergent, you'll see that the oil droplets become suspended inside water, forming something called an emulsion. This happens because each detergent molecule has a hydrophilic end. Hydro meaning water and philic meaning affinity for. This means that end orients towards and interacts with water only. But the opposite end of the same molecule has a lipophilic end, one that orients towards and interacts with fat only. This is important to note because the mucosal surfaces like the mouth and the esophagus are wet and abundant with water, but they also have an epithelial lining of cells. Cells which have an outer membrane made of fat. Meaning, at a molecular level, the detergent has a hydrophilic moiety that latches onto water in the mucosum and a lipophilic end that latches on to
so
the
it just
cell
like
membrane.
rips it apart?
These attractive forces are strong enough for the detergent molecule to rip open the cell
Jesus
membrane,
Christ.
causing the cell to spill out its contents and die, stripping the epithelium, killing all of the cells, and causing tissue injury. This is what happened to JR's esophagus. Because of the instant irritation caused by the stripping off of the epithelium, JR started coughing violently. But it doesn't stop there. In this fit, he aspirated droplets of the highly concentrated laundry detergent, which lodged into his trachea as it entered into his airway. The more he coughed, the more smaller droplets lodged deeper into his bronchi, where amounts of detergent entered into his smaller airways. Because the lungs also contain water.
I don't know if he's gonna make it. I don't know if he's gonna make it. That fucking sucks. Holy shit, that sucks.
In the form of moisture, those cells too were torn apart by the detergent. It's here where his lungs.
Yeah, yeah, Macabre. Where we started out by watching a video about how fucked up The Biggest Loser is as a TV show, and then somehow we fell down the Chubby Emu rabbit hole of people ingesting really, really just things that are a terrible fucking idea. Like this dude ate 3 laundry pods. He's not having a good day.
Are literally getting stripped of their cell lining as the tissue begins to die. The body detects this and initiates an inflammatory response in the airway in an effort to defend against the injury, meaning his lungs begin to swell with water and white blood cells, exacerbating his respiratory distress and leading to his imminent.
Chat, 2 is not the limit. Do not eat a fucking Tide Pod. I swear to God. Don't do it. Yo, Black Bandit, welcome. Welcome. How are you? Thank you for being here.
Respiratory failure. This mechanism of laundry pod detergent damage to body.
Just don't. Please. You're not my dad. Chat. So that's what y'all get out of this? 2 is the limit? Do what Bees says. Eat. I'm not challenging anyone. I don't give a fuck if I'm your dad or not. Just don't. I heard. God damn it, chat.
Biologic tissue is generalized to all parts of the human body. The eyes can suffer burns as well as the skin when they come into contact with the highly concentrated detergent. Mild soaps, much weaker than laundry detergents, can be used to wash hands because skin cells contain keratin,
Good plan.
a protein that protects cellular membranes from rupturing on detergent contact. But the soaps will rupture bacterial, viral, and fungal membranes, which typically don't contain keratin. Similarly, the cells of the eyes, mouth, and throat also don't contain this protein, so they too would be irritated by these same mild soaps. The concept of surface active detergents with a dual nature in hydrophilicity and lipophilicity is an important physiologic theme in medicine. Ironically, the lungs produce their own detergent called dipalmitoyl phosphatidylcholine. This prevents collapse of the small bubbles.
That looks absolutely insane. The detergent causes. I knew that detergent was like super fucking bad for you. Like, it just kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense, but like, holy shit, hearing about it in extreme detail is like,
in the alveoli, where oxygen exchange occurs with the blood. Premature babies often experience respiratory distress syndrome from collapsed airways because their bodies don't develop the capability to produce this surfactant until term. This isn't in the same league of detergent as contained in the laundry pods and exists inside the alveoli rather than outside where JR's damage is occurring.
Interesting.
Fats and oils are difficult for the body to digest if not for bile. An emulsifying agent that encapsulates fat globules in a structure that can interact with both water and fat, helping absorption of fat-soluble vitamins as well as digestion of oils. Pharmaceutical dosage forms famously employ detergents in an effort to increase bioavailability, enhance absorption and distribution of drug in the body. Creams and lotions contain emulsified oils that absorb transdermally into the skin.
Exactly.
Inhalers use surfactants to maintain dispersion of the drug for absorption into the lungs. And most recently, liposomal nanoparticles are being researched and engineered for gene therapy and for targeted drug delivery in cancer. These particles can be self-forming in vivo or in the body and are not the ethoxylated, sulfated, anionic and non-ionic surfactants of laundry detergent, which were specifically formulated and designed to remove grease and
2 is not the fucking limit, Mir, I swear.
stains from clothing.
If you stop showing up now, I'm going to be so fucking worried. Like, that motherfucker ate 3 Tide Pods.
There is no place in or on any part of the human body for any kind of laundry detergent, ever. For JR, there's no cure for laundry pod poisoning. The best that can be done inpatient is supportive care to alleviate symptoms and monitoring. His airway is stabilized and he's intubated to prevent respiratory arrest. Because he was shown to have severe circumferential burns to his esophagus, prophylactic antibiotics were given, as well as corticosteroids to limit inflammation. Because he's unable to swallow, he can only be fed intravenously or through a nasogastric tube as his esophageal epithelium begins to heal from the chemical burn injury that it suffered. This was a tragic case that did not need to happen. Warning labels are prominent on laundry pod packaging. Did he live? Previously, poison call centers have dealt with thousands of cases like this, but mostly in very young children, as well as impaired geriatric patients. The supportive care in the
14,000? Is that how many calls they got? Total poison control calls for laundry pods 2013 through 2017? Over 10,000? I'm assuming, Legion, I am assuming that this dude was in a medically induced coma for like a while. Like, no fucking way that dude was conscious through all this. Like, absolutely no fucking way. I wouldn't want to be conscious, like, going through the healing part of that. I know that there are consequences for being in a medically induced coma, like in general, but like I cannot fucking imagine being conscious through how fucking long. I wonder how long it takes. Like, how long are you hospitalized for this kind of shit? It's gotta be a while. It's gotta be a while. Like 15,000 fucking, like, why are these things brightly colored in giant like orange happy packages? What the hell? That is absolutely insane. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there, but still, that is a fuckload of people.
Supportive care in the intensive care unit, in addition to timely monitoring, a strong lesson learned, a story that'll never be lived down amongst his friends, and an event that he'll want to erase from his memory for the rest of his life. JR was able to make a recovery from his injuries. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself.
I like how he didn't say full recovery. He just said a recovery. I wonder what the long-term effects are. Yeah, a recovery. I wonder what the long-term effects from that are. Like, holy shit. A man drank suspicious coconut water. Jesus.
I recited the medical dictionary from memory for 3 hours. This is how my kidneys shut down.
We lost in the sauce now, yeah. Look in the Streamswitch channel. A message from Tide CEO. We can watch that real quick. This guy looks like all he does is deliver bad news. I mean... Imagine having to release a PSA not to eat cleaning chemicals. I bet they actually did. I mean, I know obviously this is a parody. But yeah.
Hi, America. My name's David Taylor. I'm the CEO of the company that makes Tide and its corollary product, Tide Pods, which is what I want to talk to you about today. You gotta stop eating the Tide Pods, okay? Look, I get it. You guys are young, you're hip. You don't want an old guy telling you what to do. But Tide Pods are soap, and that's not food. So please, stop eating the Tide Pods. And make sure to keep an eye out for Cascade Dish Pops, the lollipop that cleans your dishes. That can we stop? Sorry. Are we calling it a lollipop?
Soap is not
I'd love
food.
to see
Yeah,
one if I
it's
could.
not.
Just get it, if we can find one in. Our company has been innovating new products since it was founded, and we're proud to continue that tradition with our Vicks VapoRub Winter Blast Gum.
I mean, just think about how good bleach works as a disinfectant. That was just like 2 years ago or something. Oh, Christ, I forgot about that. Oh, there's still people that advocate for drinking bleach. Chat, don't drink bleach. Chat, do not. Just don't. Just stop. Just stop it. Just eat chicken and broccoli. Just eat chicken and broccoli. That's it. And make sure that you cooked it correctly in a clean environment and you store it properly. Watch bleach instead. Ayo. There you go. There you go. Just keep it simple, chat. Don't overcomplicate things, all right? House shooting is mocktail. Do not cook it like Cooking with Jack. Yeah, just follow a reputable cookbook.
Flavored bonbons.
Medium rare chicken. No medium rare chimkin, please. Well, thoroughly cooked chicken. It's 165 degrees. Make sure it gets there. Just, in fact, you could just get a sous vide or something and just, take all the guesswork out of it. Just cook the shit out of it in a sous vide. Okay. All right. I got food poisoning during Christmas. You're giving raw chicken. That fucking sucks, Mir. Sorry to hear that. Fastest way to become a Soul Reaper, drink. No, Legion, no. Legion, no. Bad Legion. You do not become a Soul Reaper. Do not drink bleach. Okay? Most people can fight off salmonella infection at least. You can legit eat medium rare chicken in Japan. Just don't. Okay? Just don't. You want to be a nerdy? No. Bad nerdy.
Do these look just like mints, like diner mints? I'm looking at it and man, that looks like a mint to me. I mean, am I crazy?
Does it look the same as Tide Pods?
What do you mean the same as Tide Pods? I also don't understand, now that we're talking about it, what does gum flavored mean in this context? Bubble gum flavored? Gum tastes like anything. We're gonna get our fucking ass handed to us in court. You're not rolling on this, are you? Forget dryer sheets. With Gain brand dryer powder, you simply pour the powder into the mixer. You take your dryer stick right here, and this is cotton candy. Am I the asshole? Like, how do you not get? Can we just cut? Can you cut the camera real quick?
No, I mean, I believe that. I know it is more common, like raw chicken handling and stuff is like less of a big deal some places. Stop it. Get some help.
I'm trying to
But still, it's insane.
How this happened. I've been busting my ass on this fucking Tide Pods fiasco, and I turned my back for 3 seconds, and now our entire line of products is shaped like fucking candy. And I'm trying to understand how this happened. Why are you crying?
With Tampax Push Sickles, you get to choose between chili cherry, frosty fruit punch, or ice cold cranberry. Okay, not only should none of these be flavored, because why would you flavor them? This is the coldest thing I've ever held. And, as in everything else today, people will try to eat these. Even if they're not poisonous, we don't want people eating fucking tampons. Those are poisonous. Why are they poisonous? You'll go cuckoo for cleanliness with our cocoa butter premium Pampers brand Chuck So the Kids Eat Shit.
2011 films?
Right? That's what this is. The kids, they eat shit. It's chocolate, diaper, poop. Let's see here. Oh, there it is. Is it chocolate? Is it poop? Do we care? Does anyone care? Who knows? Who gives a fuck, right? I'm not gonna do this product, so we'll be moving on. Jesus Christ, okay. Try Crest brand dinner paste for the hungry consumer on the go. throw a fluoride-filled meal bag in your gullet? Oh, fuck.
Make it stop.
So we do make food. So we do now make food. Meal bag. Meal bag tested very well. I'll kill you. It doesn't matter if we make the day because none of this is going to be usable. Do you understand? That's a hamburger. It's a razor. That's a razor. That's a Gillette razor. Bring me shaving cream right now. And if it doesn't shave my face, it's your ass. You get that, right? Here we go. Oh my God. That is a killer shave. That is like baby's bottom smooth. The other stuff I don't know about, but the hamburger is working for me.
That looks better than any Macca's burger. I mean, I would eat the shit out of a McDouble right now. Thank you for the head pats. Thank you. Storm, welcome. Hands up, I'm taking over chat. Good luck. I don't know why you would want to take over my chat. They apparently want to drink bleach and eat Tide Pods. So good luck navigating that one. I'm sure it's going to go well for you. Also cock. All right. Question. This film was made in 2011 by Paramount Pictures, Nickelodeon Movies, Columbia Pictures, Amblin Entertainment. It was based on the Nelvana cartoon series. Hint. Okay, never mind. You can have chat back. Yeah, that's what I fucking thought. That's what I thought, Storm. Paku, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. I will hydrate. You heard me. (2011) Paramount Pictures, Nickelodeon.
Oh, hi, little guy.
Zelly!
Zelly Granger is now following.
Welcome in, Zelly. Yeah, y'all can guess. I have no fucking clue. Yeah. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for being here. The Adventures of Tintin. Oh, that makes sense. You gonna go be? I'm a cat. I mean...
Legend 247 says, I don't want to eat bleach, I want to become bleach by drinking bleach. Also, it how Ikiko got into the Soul Society the fastest way and drink bleach.
Chat.
Also, Soul
okay, Legion, watch very carefully, okay?
Stop it. Get some help.
Just for you, buddy. Just for you. What? Don't recommend me shit and dump me into a live stream, piece of shit.
Legion 247 says, get some help. Hello, me drink bleach. Bees.
2 liters of moonshine? Bro, chill the fuck out. Ichigo also had his soul taken over. I'd rather go that route, Bees. Listen, nerdy, listen. Click it. That's a party. That is not a fucking... Fine. Is it still there? It's still there. Fine. Then I get a cool mask? No, you get a cool bag. They put your body in a cool bag. It's super cool. Please don't.
A man drank 2 liters moonshine in 2 hours. This is what happened to his eyes. CS is a 31-year-old...
His eyes? I don't want to know. How does this lead to his eyes being fucked up? Do we have to, Will? Do we have to?
Old man presenting to the emergency room with body pain, nausea, and blurred vision. He tells the admitting nurse that he slept poorly the previous night and suffered severe abdominal cramps before seeing his vision distort.
Oh, yeah. That's true. I have heard that before.
Legion 247 says at nerdy existence, you're right, cool bleach mask are given for drinking bleach.
Y'all are gonna make me mod someone else or just blacklist the term bleach. I swear to God. 1.9 liters is not the limit. Let's find out why this guy got fucked up, okay?
Tonight, CS was participating with friends in a New Year's Eve BYOB power hour, where each person would bring their own bottle of liquor and take a half shot on the minute, every minute, for a whole hour. CS didn't want to just bring his own liquor.
Wait.
Bleach.
Bleach. Hold on. I think you should mod Legion. I love Legion, and for as much as I do, I don't want to fully comprehend what is happening in Legion's brain, and or let Legion be responsible for wrangling whatever you want to call my chat. I just make them ban the word. I don't know if Legion would do it. I'm pretty sure that Legion would just pin the comment. Okay, I need to, how much per hour did they have to drink?
Friends in a New Year's Eve BYOB power hour, where each person would bring their own bottle of liquor and take a half shot on the minute, every minute, for a whole hour. CS.
Is it I feel, I'm sorry, I'm stun locked. First off, I'm stun locked, like legitimately stun locked. I have gone pretty fucking hard in my life at points. What? Excuse me?
Legion 247 says, in all seriousness, the reason why bad moonshine makes you blind is because the ethanol within the moonshine causes liver damage and damage to the eyes at the extreme excess of alcohol and other chemicals in moonshine.
Oh, is it because of similar to the issue earlier where like the damage ends up making its way into other organs and can't be filtered out like it can be there? I'm interested to find out. But also, what the fuck? Also, welcome Shiki, Shiki, welcome. Thank you for being here. You've joined us at a strange time. But hello. I was convinced Legion was going to blame Bleach. No, Legion has very, very, like, there's moments of clarity that shine through with Legion. It's just, you know, there's also a lot of advocating for drinking bleach so that you'll become a Soul Reaper or whatever. Don't do that.
Yes, didn't want to just bring his own liquor. He was going to make his own liquor. He received a distillation kit a few weeks prior as an early Christmas gift from his girlfriend. He had brewed his own beer before, but wanted to move towards moonshine or homemade whiskey from grains after seeing some videos on the internet.
Who makes their own shit and then is like, you know what's a good way to test this? 2 liters of it. 2 liters of it. Not a shot. We're not going to feel it out. We're not going to spot test it. We're going to have 2 fucking liters of it. My guy, please.
Unlicensed distillation is federally unlawful, but he thought to take his chances. He was sure
Nib,
he
welcome
followed the
in.
directions to ferment and distill correctly.
And then bring it to a
didn't
fucking
do
party,
anything
right?
wrong. As the batch was made, CS began the New Year celebrations with friends. He didn't like the taste of his moonshine and was pretty vocal about it. After all, it was 160 proof or 80% alcohol, double his friend's store-bought 80 proof.
Making your own spirits to own the feds.
He was a good sport and partied on with his friends, and they were having a great time celebrating
Later,
the
Black
New Year's,
Bandit.
and CS
Thank you for stopping
proceeded
by
to
with the
finish
question. Have a good
all
one.
2 liters moonshine that he brought within 2 hours. As the night continued, CS felt increasingly ill.
Yeah, no, moonshine can be fantastic. Well, I would say fantastic. It can be good. It doesn't have to be fucking miserable. In Minecraft, of course. But yeah, whatever concoction this fucker made, probably not so much.
Ill. His vision started vignetting, darkening and blurring on the sides. His sense of sound began to flow into a sea of molasses as it slowed.
Right,
and
nerdy?
warmed. He
Right?
thought because he
Just
drank 160 proof moonshine that he was just more drunk than normal. He went to bed not eating anything, but also not feeling great. And as he got started the next day, his vision quickly went dark, and he called for an ambulance where he's brought to the emergency room where we are now. Before the nurse could do a physical exam on CS, he asked to use the restroom. He was in for about 10 minutes, the bathroom door still closed. Medical staff thought to ask and see if anything was wrong, and when they received no response, they entered and found him on the floor, foaming at the mouth and seizing as he was huddled over the toilet. As the seizure resolves, he's unresponsive, pupils dilated and unreactive to light.
Fuck.
Respiratory rate 28 breaths per minute, double that of normal. His Glasgow Coma Scale, an objective measure of his
Niv, by the way, we started out by watching video about how The Biggest Loser is kind of fucked up. And by kind of fucked up, I mean very fucked up, which somehow led us to a dude dry scooping 35,000 milligrams of caffeine, and then we fell down the Chubby Emu rabbit hole. And now we're here with a man that decided to make his own 2 liters of moonshine and then drink it all in 2 hours because I guess fuck it or something.
Consciousness, an indicator of brain injury, is rated at just 4. 1 point above complete unresponsive coma. There's indication here that he has severe acute brain injury, but something's wrong. If CS is suffering from just alcohol, or more formally ethanol intoxication, then the seizure doesn't make sense. Ethanol is a nervous system depressant, meaning that it slows down the brain and displaces excitatory neurotransmitters. Because he was convulsing during the seizure.
35,000 milligrams. Yeah. He lived, by the way, somehow. You almost had a heart attack with 1,000 milligrams. Yeah, this dude like fucking died multiple times. Yeah, they kept having to bring him back. So yeah, 35K. That's a hell of a ride.
We classify it as generalized tonic-clonic. Tonic and clonic deriving from ancient Greek words tonos and clonus, which mean to stretch with violent and confused motion. Generalized meaning that the seizure, which is a state of excessive excitation, is affecting the entire brain.
Chat, 3 Tide Pods is not the limit. Don't eat Tide Pods. Bleach, there is no limit. Don't drink bleach. 35,000, way over the limit. The actual recommended limit, 400. 400, chat. 400 milligrams. Just drink your fucking cup of coffee and be happy, all right?
This is opposite of nervous system depression, so we can say with certainty that ethanol is not directly responsible for his seizure. A blood test reveals that the pH of CS's blood is 6.5. That's 8 times more acidic than
Legion.
normal, and he's transferred to the intensive
You know what I
care
mean.
unit as he's suffering from metabolic acidosis. Osis meaning abnormal state, and acid being a chemical that donates hydrogen ions, something when in large abundance can impair the normal function of your body. Metabolic meaning that it's deriving from cellular processes that produce energy or break down substances. With a pH of 6.5, we can conclude that CS is suffering from profound acidemia, an acid presence in blood. If since last night nothing entered CS's body except for 2 liters of moonshine and water, neither of which are strong acids, and nothing left his body except for some urine, then how is it possible for so much acid to be in his blood? Was there something else in that moonshine? Well, there's a bit of basic biochemistry to be known here. To make moonshine, CS used yeast to ferment oat sugar, or glucose. Fermentation is the anaerobic or without oxygen consumption of glucose, producing an unrefined beer called a wash. Because glucose is a chain of 6 carbons, the yeast will produce alcohol chains of less than 5 after we account for carbon dioxide produced. This means that ethanol at 2 carbons is very common, yielding at 10 to 15% in wash, but it also means that the 1 carbon methanol, which is not safe for human consumption, is produced too. And even worse, CS used his distillation kit to produce his concentrated 80% ethanol drink. Distillation separates chemicals and is started by heating the wash. Ethanol boils at 173 degrees Fahrenheit, which means at this temperature, its vapor pressure is equal to the pressure exerted on it by the surrounding atmosphere, meaning it will phase shift from liquid into gas. Because water boils at 212 Fahrenheit, then heating to 173 boils the ethanol but not water, turning the alcohol into gas, which will rise up in the still where it's collected, condensed, and cooled back into liquid in a separate container, creating moonshine. The problem with this...
Wait, y'all should not be learning that. No, well, no, don't, no note taking, don't buy your alcohol at the store, chat. That's get a free tutorial. Yeah, apparently if you eat, I'm not going to say it. I was about to say what may happen if you eat a bunch of nutmeg. Just don't do that.
Is that methanol's boiling point is 149 degrees Fahrenheit, lower than ethanol's. So heating to 173 boils it too and collects and concentrates it into the moonshine. Methanol collects in the head or the first part of the distillate, and it's apparent that CS drank a lot of it because a blood test reveals that the methanol concentration in his body is 420 milligrams per deciliter, more than 10 times the minimum documented lethal dose.
God damn. Holy shit. What a fucking fantastic number to land on. But also, how fucking unfortunate. This dude just straight up made a whole ass batch of it. Like, go. like 2 liters. 2 liters is a lot of liquid, right? It is. Don't get me wrong, but also to have ended up with that much when you're going for one thing and then you end up with like a whole ass bottle of this other shit that will kill you, like that is it's really unfortunate.
Ethanol doesn't look much different from ethanol, physically and chemically. Estimating his blood volume at 6 liters because of his weight of 80 kilograms measured at admission, this means that there are 25 grams of methanol floating around in his blood. Given that the density of methanol is about 0.8 grams per milliliter, this means that there is about 30 milliliters, or 2 tablespoons full, in his blood at the moment. Like ethanol, methanol is also a weak acid, but 30 milliliters alone isn't enough to cause profound acidemia. It's also physiologically inactive by itself in humans, so how could it be causing these problems in CS? Well, let's go back to the name of his condition, metabolic acidosis.
Banana, it's not that big of a deal.
If methanol isn't
probably
a strong
fine.
acid, then
Probably
how
fine.
exactly is methanol getting metabolized? In humans, alcohols are metabolized twice, mainly in the liver. It appears that humans evolved this mechanism because the bacteria in your gut ferments sugars. That's the same fermentation that CS's yeast did with oat sugar, and means that small amounts of alcohol, about 3 grams, are produced in your gut every day. The first step of alcohol metabolism is where an enzyme called alcohol dehydrogenase converts it to aldehyde. Ethanol becomes ethanal, which is responsible for hangovers and flushing while drunk. Methanol becomes methanal, which is formaldehyde, used to embalm mummies and is a likely carcinogen. This first step is fast and causes a buildup of aldehyde in the body, explaining delayed onset of hangover after a night of drinking. The second step is when aldehyde dehydrogenase converts aldehyde to carboxylic acid. So ethanal is metabolized to ethanoic acid, which is vinegar, but methanal is metabolized to methanoic acid, which is a major poison. But it's not the acid moiety.
That's so fucking unfortunate. All these other things, minor inconveniences. You drink this one thing that's just barely different from the others. That's fucking poison.
of methanoic acid causing CS's metabolic acidosis, but rather the effect that it exerts on the body. Your cells need oxygen to produce.
Yes, yeah. It's you smash those two together, Proot, it's a party. Also, welcome. How are you? Happy New Year. Happy New Year, by the way.
Produce energy. The enzyme cytochrome oxidase is a major part of this metabolism and relies heavily on oxygen to
I love pictures like this. It's like, what the fuck? What are we even looking at here? Like, I know that you know, somebody can probably look at this and be like, oh yeah, of course, but like, what is this supposed to be telling me? What am I supposed to take away from your funny confetti string monster? Happy birthday! 3D structure of a protein or enzyme. Interesting. 488's just like, God damn it, these fucking idiots. I can't believe I hang out here. A lot of helixes, yeah. Sometimes I wonder what people think stumbling across an OG. I don't know. I don't know. I just keep I keep hitting the go live button. I'm just as confused as you. Don't worry. Spiral pasta and noodle. If only Tinko were here. If only Tinko could give us his input.
Function. Methanoic acid binds into cytochrome oxidase and doesn't let oxygen in and forces the cell to operate anaerobically and produce less energy, all without oxygen. When cells are asphyxiated like this, they produce lactic acid from the glucose that they're trying to metabolize into energy. It's this methanoic acid being produced from methanol metabolism that's choking his cells of oxygen and forcing them to produce acid, causing CS's metabolic acidosis and profound acidemia. In looking at his physical condition, where would this starvation of oxygen have the greatest impact? Well, it's probably not the muscles, since they're designed to tolerate lactate, which is produced during exercise when a transient oxygen deficiency is common. It couldn't be the liver, as it can process and break down some of these
welcome
acids.
in.
But how about the
Can't
brain?
wait for the next ASMR
The brain
stream.
is
Soon.
metabolically active, and
Should be
short
this
amounts
next
of time
Thursday.
with ischemic event, when oxygen flow or utilization is blocked, can cause excitotoxicity, an overexcitation of the brain, which includes seizure. A brain MRI for CS reveals hypoxia, or low oxygen, in the basal ganglia, which connects major parts of the brain together. Methanoic acid is known for its selective absorption into eye tissue and the optic nerve, where it builds up, starves the cells of...
Of all the things, like, how unfortunate. The brain can handle shit. Yeah, no, I mean, it's a very, very delicate thing. I mean, it's the brain also weirds me out. Listen, bodies in general, like all the shit that's happening in us, we've already gone over this, chat. It just weirds me out. Like, it really does. But all the little intricate things about the brain that we still don't really understand is just crazy.
Oxygen, and causes them to necrose or die as they literally digest themselves from inside out. Hyperemia, or an abundant presence of blood, was found in CS's eye, along with edema, or fluid swelling, all explaining why CS's vision was deteriorating since he started drinking and suddenly lost his vision as he presented to the emergency room. If left untreated,
I don't think so,
he will
Clementine.
first go permanently blind, as his optic nerve is choked out and depraved of oxygen, causing irreversible nerve damage.
If this dude does not end up permanently blind, like, it's not like I want him to or anything. It's just insane to me. It's just insane that you can fuck up this badly. You could fuck up this badly, show up blind, and basically unresponsive. Like, you show up to the hospital, you immediately, have a seizure and you're unconscious, and a team of people has to stand around you and be like, well, that'll buff out. Like, how?
After that, his brain will begin to hemorrhage and bleed out and necrose as it starves for oxygen and swims in a pool of its own dead cells. The notion of enzymatic activity modulating or causing toxicity by its action or lack thereof is a recurring physiologic theme. Both carbon monoxide and cyanide have the same mechanism as methanoic acid. They block oxygen from binding to cytochrome oxidase, preventing cells from using oxygen, causing an overproduction of lactic acid, causing metabolic acidosis, necrosis, and eventually death. Medicines are sometimes given in prodrug form, meaning that they're inactive when taken orally but metabolized by the liver into active form. For example, the blood pressure medication enalapril is converted to biologically active enalaprilat, which inhibits the angiotensin converting enzyme, preventing activation of the hormone angiotensin.
Did you hear like the goal of this party? Like you were supposed to bring your own alcohol and drink a half shot every minute for the hour. Like what?
1 to its vasoactive form, lowering blood pressure. This specific use case in humans derived from the Brazilian pit viper, whose venom was designed to fatally lower blood pressure of its prey, typically of small mammalian descent, meaning that the idea of enzymatic activity transcends species. When dogs eat chocolate, they consume theobromine, a chemical similar to caffeine that causes tremors and acts as a stimulant. Humans metabolize theobromine in the liver enzymes, but dogs do not have these enzymes, so they break it down very slowly, if at all, meaning that the theobromine accumulates, causing overstimulation, increasing heart contractility, increasing adrenaline levels, causing hyperthermia, rigidity, tremors, seizures, and death. With methanol, the exact opposite is happening. Methanol is physiologically inert and only produces mild sedation.
The balls are inert.
It's already water-soluble, meaning that it can dissolve in the urine as is and be excreted by the kidneys, but its metabolites are poisonous. If enzymes can be competitively inhibited like cytochrome oxidase, is there a way that we could prevent methanol from binding to alcohol dehydrogenase and stop it from being metabolized? Yes. Ethanol binds to alcohol dehydrogenase with a greater affinity than methanol, and it does so competitively, meaning that it'll prevent methanol from ever binding to the enzyme's active site, preventing it from metabolizing. This explains partly why CS's symptoms were more mild while he was still drunk the previous night.
I'm actually probably about to order
dinner. It means that the antidote for his poisoning is more ethanol.
Wait, what?
He's put on dialysis, as well as given sodium bicarbonate, a base to correct his acidosis. A 10% ethanol IV infusion is administered. Plasma methanoic acid concentrations were monitored and shown to fall after ethanol administration, along with spontaneous resolution of his metabolic acidosis and improvements in his mental status. As documented in the literature, the elimination half-life of methanol in the body after discontinuation of dialysis was 54 hours, as the methanol dissolved in CS's urine and was excreted through the kidneys unmetabolized. Halting the production of methanoic acid, if caught early, can reverse the ischemic and hypoxic damage caused by the poison, as enzymes are not consumed in the chemical reactions in which they participate. CS's story is a fine example for reasons why alcohol distillation without permit is federally unlawful in the United States.
Was it really, Banana?
It's a common international travel tip to be careful of cheap liquor in some countries because it could have been bootlegged and adulterated to be contaminated with methanol, poisoning hundreds if not thousands of people, as the toxicity and irreversible injury can happen in as little as a couple milliliters. Furthermore, ethanol was used as car fuel at one point in time. Its vapors generated during distillation are spontaneously combustible. Because distillation requires heat, poorly sealed stills will explode. U.S. alcohol tax revenue, including all states in 2015, was counted at $7 billion, or 0.2% of the $3.25
God, I wonder what that was in like the past couple of years.
$5 trillion total federal revenue of that year. Even if personal distillation were lawful, popular, and taxed, it's not likely home production would even come close to matching the volume produced industrially. So isolating the reason for distillation laws to just saying that the government cannot tax it is incomplete, and neglects the fact that this has potential to harm a large number of people chemically through methanol poisoning and physically through ethanol vapors. With proper treatment and monitoring in the intensive care unit, a strong lesson learned in why making moonshine is dangerous and unlawful by him and all his friends, CS was able to make a full recovery. Thank you so much for watching.
That is absolutely insane. I mean, I guess we have a pretty decent grasp on how to unfuck this guy up. Well, they had a pretty decent grasp on how to unfuck this guy up. That's still just insane. That's also why distilling spirits is illegal. That and explosion risk. Yeah. Coconut water. Except his eyes exploded. I don't drink. I'm not starting now. Absolutely insane and informative at the same time. Yeah, all of these videos really have been as like as these make me feel. Like, they are very entertaining videos. So he didn't go blind. Yeah, apparently just he's fine. He's cool. Hopefully he didn't fucking try to make more moonshine. All forms of food processing are prone to risk, not just spirits. I mean, that's true. That's true. But actually, I have a friend that has a master's in food safety. Oh, that's cool. God, I bet they have all sorts of horrifying things to tell you whenever you're cooking.
A man drinks suspicious.
Okay, this is a recent one. It's a recent one. Let's watch it. Sus coconut. Yeah, degrees of risk. Yeah. I don't buy homemade foods from TikTok influencers. You don't want pink sauce? You know, didn't they re-release pink sauce and it's not even fucking pink anymore? Like, that was like a whole... We could have a whole fucking stream on pink sauce. Videos seem to be talking about the worst case scenarios rather than what actually happened. Pink shit? No, if you're... Okay, you know...
Coconut water for lunch. This is what happened to his brain. AC is a 39-year-old man presenting to the emergency room unconscious. Paramedics tell the admitting nurse that they found him in his house, sweaty, nauseous, with pale skin, and laying down in a crooked position. Earlier that day, AC was living his regular life.
Food, chat.
He was hungry for some food, and when he looked, he found a sweet young coconut sitting on his kitchen counter. This coconut isn't like the hairy, regular ones that you find in the produce section at the grocery. It's shaved and found in the refrigerated
Don't judge
section.
me. Don't
It's
judge
the one
me.
that you buy to get delicious coconut water from. The low temperature of the refrigeration helps limit microbial growth. And that's important because some bacteria and fungi enjoy and thrive on the natural juices of this fruit. But AC wasn't aware. He remembered that he had been seeing this particular coconut on his kitchen counter for at least the last month.
This guy's hairline is haircut. I don't know why hair cute. Wow. I don't know where I read haircut as hairline. Yeah, his haircut's been pretty wild the entire fucking time. Just fuck my shit up. This guy to his barber before recording this video. It has been like this like the entire time. Varying degrees of like we out there. 1 month old coconut water. Listen, it's probably fine. Just look at this. Shea, do you not like what you say? Look at him. He looks like he's going through a midlife crisis. His hair looked okay. Hold on. This is from 3 weeks ago. Let's compare. We need old. Also, welcome Shea. Can we get a shout out for Shea? Do I need to do it? I think I might need to do it. Hold on.
Okay. Here you guys go. It's a one. There you go. Have your fun for a little bit. Wait, did it break already? Hold on, pause. Hold on, pause. Did this ah! Hold on. It broke.
How did you fuck this up? What did you do? Oh my god.
Ah! Okay, are we done yet? Are we done? Okay, I'm removing it. I'm getting rid of it. Where is it? Please stop. Damn, okay.
What did you do? Oh my god. Follow Shea, please. She is fucking awesome. Wait, is this the same fucking dude? Hold on. What a journey. Okay, this is 5 years ago.
BG had defecated 8 times in the last 10 hours before stumbling around confused.
Of course. It's the one that I click on. Oh, okay. All right. 8 times in 3 hours. He has a second channel called Heme Review. Much more technical. Interesting. Okay. All right. No, no. I was wrong. I mean, this is still this is still a haircut, like for sure. But this is certainly taking that to another level. It is taking it to another level. Now I'm invested in the poop story. Now I want to know what happened to the guy that was confused. Runway fashion type haircut, yeah. Number 1 on the sides, no fade. Absolutely no fade. If there's any semblance of fade, I'm fucking done. I'm done.
Presenting to the emergency room, unconscious. Paramedics tell the admitting nurse that they found him in his house, sweaty, nauseous, with pale skin, and laying down in a crooked position.
Okay,
Earlier that day,
I need
AC was
to
living his
rewatch
regular
this.
life. He was hungry for some food, and when he looked, he found a sweet young coconut sitting on his kitchen counter. This coconut isn't like the hairy regular ones that you find in the produce section at the grocery. It's shaved and found in the refrigerated section. It's the one that you buy to get delicious coconut water from. The low temperature of the refrigeration helps limit microbial growth, and that's
Wait, for
important
real,
because
Wangler?
some bacteria and fungi enjoy and thrive on.
Like, this is not a Joe Rogan minute. It's not. Hold on. No, that fucking sucks. God, that sucks. Rip Ken Block. No, I had not seen that. In a snowmobile accident. Oh, man. Yeah, that's a bummer. That's a real fucking bummer. We've watched some of we've watched Ken Block on this channel before. Damn. That fucking sucks. Ken Block is the guy who did all like the Gymkhana videos. Actually, Hoonigan, the channel that we were watching earlier, the This Versus That, like that was all started by Ken Block. Like that's all like Ken Block related stuff. So that's fucking awful. Yeah. Damn.
The natural juices of this fruit, but AC wasn't aware. He remembered that he had been seeing this particular coconut on his kitchen counter for at least the last month as he poked the pre-made hole in and started drinking. Immediately, as the coconut water touched his tongue, he knew something was wrong. The taste was so terrible that he spat it out, but not before he swallowed some of it. He noticed there was a smell coming from inside of the fruit. He tried cutting it open, and when he could finally look inside, he saw it was slimy and rotten as he showed it to his wife and threw it away. He kept rinsing out his mouth because the taste lingering inside was so awful, but he was sure that he completely
What the fuck did you expect?
Out. As the hours passed, AC started feeling funny. At first, he noticed that he was sweating, but the room wasn't really that hot. He felt his palms were kind of damp, maybe a little clammy. In the bathroom now, AC could feel a tinge in his cheeks as a sour taste rushed into his mouth from under his tongue, and he emptied his stomach into the toilet in a way like never before. Unsure of what was happening, he looked in the mirror and noticed that his complexion was a pale gray color. But the image that he saw in the mirror was starting to not make sense. As he stumbles out of the bathroom, he loses his balance. On the floor now, in a crooked position, not knowing where he was, not knowing what was happening, he was able to summon enough strength to call for 911. In the ambulance, paramedics noticed that AC could still respond to questions, but it took him some time before he could speak his response.
Right.
But as he's brought to the emergency
I'm
room,
assuming
AC
something like
becomes
that.
unresponsive.
48, like.
At examination, doctors found that AC's heart was still beating, but his blood pressure was high. When they shined a light into his eyes, his pupils could still react and constrict. All of this meaning that at least one part of his brain was still functioning for now. A blood test finds that AC has metabolic acidosis. Acid in this context being a waste product of metabolism or cellular activity, but more formally known as the concentration of hydrogen ions in his blood. And osis meaning a disorder of excess acid due to cell activity, but which cells are doing this? The medical team notices that AC's forearms and his calves would randomly jerk. Given that he was found by paramedics in a twisted and crooked position.
Yeah, about to say, like, we've really like upped the ominous music here and the bass. It's way more real in this video than the previous videos.
There could be something wrong with his muscles, but the nervous system controls the muscles. So which one has the problem? In the intensive care unit, AC's body temperature is now higher than when he presented to the emergency room. If he has acid in his blood because of abnormal metabolic activity, he quickly became unconscious in the ambulance. His muscles are twitching randomly, and he now has a fever. Then this could mean that AC has an infection that's somehow affecting his brain called meningitis. Itis meaning an inflammation of the meninges, layers of membranes surrounding the brain and the metabolic activity. Causing acidosis might be from a problem with his cells in reaction to the fact that bacteria is now growing in his nerves and his brain. But how can the medical team be sure that this is what's happening? Doctors send a needle into his back to collect cerebrospinal fluid to test. If bacteria is infecting his brain, this fluid should give some clues that something is growing inside, but time is quickly running out. The medical team doesn't know for sure if he has an infection. They start him on antibiotics in hopes that if this is an infection, some of the bacteria can start to be handled immediately. What doctors also don't know about is the suspicious coconut water that AC drank. He couldn't tell them about it because he was unconscious.
Fucking unconscious.
His wife told doctors that AC had showed her a rotten coconut just hours before she found him crooked and sweaty on the floor. This gives doctors some clues as to what's happening because as the labs return for their cerebrospinal fluid, it looks like there isn't any infection in AC's brain at all. When a fruit becomes rotten, it's anyone's guess as to what kind of bacteria and fungus were growing and thriving inside. In medical literature, rotten coconuts and corn have been associated with bonchrenic acid, a mitochondrial toxin that's made by Burkholderia bacteria, which sometimes appears as a result of incomplete fermentation. This gives us a...
That is also so insane that there's just so much bacteria and fungus all over the place. Like, so much. Like, there's some really interesting topics about like how basically fungus thrives in most parts of the world. Fungus thrive in both like temperatures that are like just above or below our body like blood temperature level, and like that's part of the reason why there's just not like a really insane amount of like fungal infections that can like thrive in our blood. And apparently like they're starting to see more cases of fungus that can survive inside of us. I forget if it's because of they're adapting to like rising temperatures in the world in general or what. I'll have to see if I can find that video. It might be an interesting watch for us on the channel. But yeah, like just thinking about the fact that like there's all sorts of things that just barely can't survive in our body until they do. Groxy, yo, good to fucking see you. Happy New Year. How are you? Girl version of The Last of Us? I've never played The Last of Us. Is that what happened in The Last of Us?
A couple of clues. First is...
You're talking about me. Oh God. To who?
That a rotten coconut
Cute
that's
bee?
slimy on the
That's me.
inside likely has bacteria and other microbes growing in it. If AC consumed part of rotten fruit, and that particular fruit had microbes growing in it, and those microbes can produce mitochondrial toxins.
You said I was
and
sexy?
mitochondria
It's
is
true.
the powerhouse of the cell, but
Welcome
can't
in,
be
Bunflower.
because a toxin is
How are you?
preventing it from performing cellular metabolism, resulting in AC's metabolic acidosis. Then all of this should make sense. Except when the coconut was tested, the lab couldn't find any
Right,
Burkholderia
nerdy?
bacteria. They tried multiple different tests and even tried to look for boncricic
Nice
acid
to meet
itself,
ya.
but none of it was found. An MRI of AC's brain reveals that fluid has been swelling into his brain, particularly in the parts that control movement, learning, and
Oh,
memory.
God,
A blood
that's
test finds
unfortunate.
that he has hyperammonemia.
You've joined us on an interesting evening. We started out by watching a video about how The Biggest Loser is really fucked up, and then we fell down the chubby emu rabbit hole. And now we're watching a video about a man that drank suspicious coconut water and is having a pretty terrible time because of it.
Hyper meaning high, ammon referring to ammonia, a chemical made
Yeah,
as a result
legend.
of the body breaking down proteins, and emia meaning presence in blood. High ammonia presence in blood. Proteins are large compared to simple molecules. They're long chains of simple chemicals so the body can chop them down to digest and handle them. Gut bacteria do that digestion. Each chain link in any protein are called amino acids. Amino referring to the chemical group amine, which contains nitrogen. Life on Earth all require nitrogen. It's why you hear about needing nitrogen in the soil with fertilizer. And from an ecosystem perspective, the exoskeleton on some bugs contains chitin, which is a significant container of nitrogen. If nitrogen is the essential part of amino acids, which is what proteins are made of, and the body needs to break down those proteins to get the nitrogen in order to function, then it makes sense as to why our bodies normally make ammonia, because that's the simplest nitrogen compound that can exist. But it also makes sense as to why AC has hyperammonemia. The liver requires a lot of energy to function. If AC somehow ingested a mitochondrial toxin from suspicious, rotten coconut water, it could prevent his liver cells from producing the energy needed to handle ammonia flowing in from his gut. AC's brain, also an organ needing lots of energy to function, was already impaired because of the toxin, but as extra ammonia starts floating around in his blood because his liver has shut down, it gets into the brain. It causes fluid.
I'm curious, Roxy, how did you arrive on QB on the internet? I'm curious.
To start to swell in, meaning as AC's brain starts shutting down, his liver shutting down makes it even worse. But it's not his only problem. The same blood test finds that parts of...
Bro, of course it's not his only problem. This dude decided it would be good to drink a month-old moldy coconut. I'm willing to bet that this man has many problems. Like, I do not understand. I do not understand. There's absolutely no fucking way. Absolutely no fucking way that I would look at that coconut and be like, that's a good idea.
AC's muscles have broken off and started spilling into his blood, likely because his brain had trouble controlling the contraction and relaxation of his muscles, and because muscle tissue
Taxes
is also
as well.
energy dependent. This should make
Taxes.
sense.
Oh God,
Those
they're
muscle
coming up.
remnants collect in
Oh
his kidneys
no.
and rip apart the tubules, causing his kidneys to shut down.
Chat,
too.
don't remind
The
me
medical
about
team
taxes.
notes AC
Oh.
doesn't have meningitis. He doesn't appear to have any bacterial infection. The rotten coconut from where he took a sip of the suspicious water also didn't have the Burkholderia bacteria that would make the boncricic acid mitochondrial toxin that could cause all of his problems. But given that his brain is swelling with fluid, his liver has shut down and allowed ammonia to spill everywhere in his blood. Parts of his muscles have sloughed off and are now floating around in his blood, causing his kidneys to shut down.
No.
What else could have been in that coconut? In the lab, further examination of that coconut finds the presence of the fungus Arthrinium saccaricola.
I don't think
known
I'd-
to produce the toxin 3-nitropropionate.
I don't want to
acid.
examine that coconut.
In the mitochondria, this
That's a
toxin is
dangerous
a
coconut.
chemical
Says
that's
Lord
normally
Bees.
used to help produce ATP for energy. when the toxin is present instead of the mitochondria using the normal
God.
chemical.
Ah.
The 3-nitropropionic acid slides in and prevents energy production. As cells of the brain, especially in the areas that control movement, start to panic and run out of energy, some of those cells start to die. Muscles can't be controlled properly anymore, and they don't have sufficient energy to function as they start to float around in the blood. The liver cells also start to die quickly, and ammonia can't be handled anymore, causing the brain to swell even more. All of this happening because AC unfortunately drank suspicious water from a rotten coconut that had mold growing in it. 24 hours after AC presented to the emergency room, a scan of his brain showed severe swelling because the brain...
I want to send this video to Pippa. I want to send this video to Pippa. Or anybody else that has just let like moldy things exist in their room. If you have a fucking can of Coke or whatever that's molding, please remove this shit from your life. I swear to God. Whatever it is, just clean it up. Just clean it up, chat. Just think it's, you know what? Don't take away drinking bleach to become a soul reaper from this stream. Take away the fact that you should just throw away your trash. Your month-old coconuts, throw that shit in the garbage, please. Does Coke even mold though? I am fairly certain. BRB gotta say goodbye to the jar. Please, Prut. Please. Who else is living in the jar, Prut? Who else is living in the jar? Have you seen Asmon's room? Bro, Asmon's just built different, all right? We can't explain Asmon.
Elmo
How do you know that, Whale? How do you know that?
Drink bleach, we can't eat Tide Pods now, we also have to clean SMH, so many demands.
Chat, please. Also, welcome, Tacky. Thank you for being here. It's fucking great to see you. Oh,
Alexa Fleur 488 says you put the lime in the coconut, you drink them both together, put the lime in the coconut, then you'll feel better. Put the lime in the coconut, and drink them both up, put the lime in the coconut, and call me in the morning.
Week-old sushi? That sounds fucking terrible. Why?
Is enclosed inside a hard space, the skull. There's only a limited amount of space for it to swell before it starts to crush up against the sides of the skull and ooze through the sutures or the cracks in the skull. And on the scan, it looks like this brain herniation was impending. AC's pupils no longer responded to light. Reflexes that would show that his brainstem still conducted and communicated signals in his body were no longer intact. AC could no longer breathe for himself, and at 26 hours after admission, the medical team needed to make a decision with his wife whether or not to continue treatment. When it comes to food, especially fresh produce, fruits, and vegetables, it's important to keep them fresh.
Legion 247 says bees admit and acknowledge that drinking bleach makes you a soul reaper and told us to take that from his stream.
No, do not do that, Chad. You can link it. Yeah, we may not watch it tonight, but yeah, link it.
Need to be refrigerated, refrigerate them.
I love sushi
too. Be cautious
too.
with expiration dates. That's not to say go overboard and throw away everything in sight because you heard of one video online talking about someone getting